point.
Your proposition is that they were earlier you defied the moon landing. Like the fuck is this?
No, that's not me. I think it was a big mistake. The moon program was a big waste of money.
Okay, so socialist and communist regimes always degenerate into authoritarian and poor countries with mass starvation by design. Okay, that's cool. I know. Well, according to history, there was not a famine that was not man-made in the last 300 years.
Wait, are you agreeing or disagreeing?
No, I'm disagreeing because England did that to Ireland. Is England famous for being a communist country?
So you're saying
is England authoritarian?
I don't know where you're going with this. I mean, I might agree or disagree. It's a mix, you know. The
You're
whole
leading
world.
No, it's not a mix. Your argument is socialists and communist regimes always degenerate into an authoritarian and poor country with mass starvation by design. I'm sorry, but England is not famous for being a communist country or being in the USSR vicinity. And they did that to the Irish, and
just because all of these do turn into that doesn't mean that you have to be this to turn into that.
No, well, I'm just
very good point.
I'm just hearing what you're saying. I'm just saying
you're strong there is the fuck out of him.
Well, let's go ahead and say goodbye to Critical Rad Theory for now, because we're about to switch into open panel, and then you guys can continue this. Say goodbye, Critical.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Critical.
Okay. All right. To the panel, let's go ahead and get what we're going to do is we're going to do your closing thoughts for now. If any of you do want to hop off panel, you are more than welcome to after we end our closing statements, and then we'll switch into open panel dumpster fire mode. So you four have solid seats in open panel, and then everybody else will come in scraps. So Mr. Slave, let's start with you for any closing thoughts of the evening so far.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed our conversations. I hope I presented my original conspiracy theories and debunked a little bit that I could of known conspiracy theories, most of which the communism, that needs to be mostly debunked. I have a Discord. People are welcome to join me on Discord, and I have a channel, and these days I'm doing a lot of physics basically every day, and people can join, and I've mostly interesting content on my channel. That's it.
Okay, and to you, Flow State.
I want to say that two of you don't want to think, and one of you cannot think. Incredibly intellectually disappointing panel. You guys are all fucking retarded. I hate you all.
Not really. For the Arthur.
Okay,
I'll go next.
You can go now.
Yeah. Now that information, now I will speak. No, I think I operate actually closer where Flow is, but I do think actually this is a perfect demonstration of where conspiracy theories take the discussion. They take it way off into the very far end where we're basically not living in the same universe. The fact we have to talk about whether or not the 2008 financial crisis happened or not. I just think these are not useful discussions.
This guy is a troll to make
Wait, Francis. Wait, Francis.
Hold on. Hey, stop. It is his closing statements, both of you.
Yeah,
no, I just noticed.
Mr. Slave, stop.
Mr. Slave,
it is his closing statements. We will go into open panel dumpster fire, and you can do all of that all you want. But this is his closing statement. Respect it.
I'm gonna stick around a bit for the open panel shit show. But Flow State, what I'm saying is this kind of proves my point. I would love that we could have just interesting discussions about conspiracy theories, but it's people like Mr. Slade that take it off in a very far direction, and that that's the point where it becomes an interference to society. I think this panel really demonstrated that. That will be my closing statement. I'm happy to respond to any of that later, though.
All right, to you, Jake.
Well, my name is your old pal Jake from WYCD Wicked. I'm going to end after my closing statement because even I can only take about 2 hours of me. But I would say that I enjoyed talking with y'all. I thought it was interesting. I appreciated learning why you believe what you believe, but I gotta be frank. I think when it comes down to it, even the conspiracy dudes couldn't agree on which conspiracies to believe in. And the reason for that is because from where I'm sitting, it appears to just be vibes based. When you discount information at a whim and you only listen to the arguments based on how interested you personally are in them and not how likely they are to be true, it's just
You literally
creating
never
war.
responded to a concern. I don't respect his closing statements.
Flow stay.
Apparently not. And I also
Wait,
think
so-
it's incredibly telling when folks feel the need to go against the rules. I think it speaks to the strength of the argument and not positive.
Anyway,
Right,
wait,
you're a
Okay.
bootlicker. We know that already.
I just
I do
And
love
Don
boots, but
Juan
that's a
came
me
in with the
thing.
$1.99 to you, Jake. Jake, don't blame Trump, blame the system.
You can blame both.
And then he came in again and he said, shout out to the irresponsible grandmas making me money. Okay,
Okay.
here's what we're going to do. Jake, you are hopping off. Do
No,
you
no,
want
no,
me
no,
Hey,
no.
leave a
No,
link next. If Jake,
No,
sorry,
I have a
Can I
comment.
get
I have
the
a
link
comment.
backstage? If
Okay,
you
wait,
guys
I just realized Jake and
Yes.
Frances are gay.
Oh,
You're
dear
right.
Lord.
Gay does not
Jake,
begin to describe the level
shut
of kink I indulge
up.
in. So
Jake, do you want me to disconnect yours on my end, or do you want it to stay on? It's up to you.
Who do you think's the top?
well,
Mr.
actually, I'm going to treat you with a classic Jake's.
I don't know.
Jake, I meant for me to disconnect your stream, ding dong. Now you got to come back in and either do it yourself or tell me in the chat that you want me to do it.
I'm gonna guess he
Goofball.
wants you to do it.
I'm
I
going to
don't
go ahead. All right. I'll give him 30 seconds to respond if he does.
Wait, Frances,
Okay.
how do I know that you're gay?
Can we be moved around so I'm back above Sarah?
That's the one assumption you're wrong. Got me with the leftist thing, but
All
Wait, you're
right.
not
Well, let's
gay?
do this. Let's go ahead. We're going to go into open panel mode. Are we ready? Jake, if you want to disconnect, you can do it back there. I could do it for you as well. It's up to you. Totally your call. Yes. Okay. We're going to go ahead and disconnect him. And then it's time to go into open panel dumpster fire. I hope you're ready for it. I am, because this shit's
Let's do
been
it.
incredibly boring.
Yes, and I do want to extend my appreciation. I do think that Sarah has been an adequate moderator. I think that there's times where she needs to mind her own fucking business in this space, but she's been an adequate moderator, and I do appreciate her having me on her channel.
Listen, I love you, the Raging Tomato, but I would kill myself doing more red pill debates, okay?
The Raging Tomato, at least she is attempting, like, she's trying to be a comedian. You know, she's trying to be funny.
I'm back.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're all here. I'm going to put me in the middle. You over there. You over there. Okay. Now, I only have two rules. Number one, nobody violates TOS or any type of community
TOS?
guidelines. Shut up, Flo. And rule number two that Flo always likes to break is don't fucking interrupt me when I'm talking. If I have to
I do like to do
intervene
that.
because you're talking over each other, your audio
like to do
shit
that.
went. Shut the fuck up, Flo. If you're doing such things, I get irritated when I'm trying to break up fights and get everybody to calm
So
the
cute
fuck
when she's
down.
angry.
And then, oh my God, I'm going to put you back here for a fucking minute. Every time you interrupt me, an angel gets its wings and then we all burn in hell. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the two rules. If you break TOS guidelines, that's it. I boot you, I ban you, and you're gone. All right. Now, Flo State can stop being a little bitch.
Thank you, Princess.
All right, floors. Well, actually, let me do these first. Shout out to Don Juan for the $9.99. Karuma, Princess saw your debate about free will and have to say straw man should be the title. Free will can't be a cope because it's not an empirical claim. Let's break a brain to find conscious. LOL. Somebody's got feedback coming back on their end. I don't know who it is, but I know it's not Scott. Let me mute you.
I was muted.
I'm not sure. We'll play with it. Then Don Juan comes in with the, oh God, I'm sorry, Furby. Where are you at? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, you're not timed out. I missed you.
No worries. Thank you.
Comes in with $1.99. The fact that we disagree is proof for free will. Thank you, Don Juan. And Princess, you are welcome to respond to that if you want to. You're
Who's
muted.
muted the audio?
You're muted.
Thanks. I muted myself to see what's my background stuff. Like it's not me. But the quick response to that, I think I'm a determinist. I'm trying to figure this out, but I don't talk about that too long because I can talk about free will for like 3 hours, and that's definitely not the topic of today. Someone's got some background audio.
Yeah, somebody's got background noise. Let's do this. We're going to, I absolutely despise having to do this. All right, everybody just mute yourselves. We're going to go one at a time and figure out who's got the crazy background. Okay, everybody's muted. Let's go one at a time. Mr. Slave, can you talk a little bit? Yada, yada, yada.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, thank you. Princess, say something.
Test 1, 2, 1, 2.
You're okay. Flow state.
Somebody was rubbing their mic around. That's what was happening. You're not gonna do
Somebody needs to stop playing with their mic. Furby, go ahead and unmute.
I should be good.
All right, thank you. Daniel.
Hopefully it's not me.
Thank you. You could mute yourself back up. I'll do it for you. Scott to be, go ahead and unmute.
Test 1, 2, 1, 2. Test
All right,
1, 2.
you're okay. Demolish, go ahead and unmute.
All religions are misunderstandings of technology.
Beautiful, thank you. Wingnut, go ahead and unmute.
Audio 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio.
You are perfect. 6079, go ahead and unmute.
Fun fact: Scott to be knew Jesus Christ in person.
Beautiful. Okay, so somebody was 110% just rubbing on their mic. Don't be
Right.
rubbing on your mics. It's super obnoxious and loud, and we all had to just go through that because of whoever was trying to jerk off their microphone. No jerking off of the microphone. Thank you. And Don Juan coming with $1.99 to quote Melon Baller Nick, determinism is baseless. Thank you, Don Juan. All right, floor's open, gentlemen, and Mel.
So I am a determinist. So if anybody wants to debate me on determinism,
I don't even want to learn what that is.
We found
Actually,
something in common.
I want to debate you on amoral egoism first.
But
wait, right now?
Well, not necessarily, but before we get to that, yeah.
Please
Okay.
no.
Well, you.
Yeah,
Let's stay on topic for a little bit before we.
Yeah, no,
go.
I know. I was getting excited.
my stuff is quick.
So flow state, I will give you this much. We didn't quite get to finish our empirical thinking thing. There are the extra steps of like checking your biases. I don't think in that example we had many biases to worry about unless you're an anti-vaxxer.
I am definitely that, but how would we check our biases? You're looking for your own flawed thinking, but if you knew that it was flawed, it wouldn't remain to be flawed.
So is there evidence that my thinking is flawed?
There's evidence that you didn't engage in thinking at all.
That's not really what you consider in empirical thinking.
It wasn't. I asked you what thought
typically
process
before
you
you,
went through, and you didn't remember, and I asked you what thought process you would go through now from scratch, and you didn't know. You literally didn't think. That was you said as much yourself.
No, I said I would, if I were to, like, for example, consider my biases, I'd be like, okay, well, I may have, like, for example, a bias against it, but I also don't know as much as the other person. So that person probably has more evidence that confirms that it's good for me than I have evidence that confirms that it doesn't.
Okay, take me through the thought process that got you to that conclusion.
Okay, well, I wrote out the steps of like what I consider to be general empirical thinking. Is that okay?
Do whatever you want, but sure.
Identify the problem or question. I think we had to establish that at the beginning before I could even answer. Gather information, I wasn't sure how much information to gather. If you want to give me more information about your hypothetical, we can do more with that. Analyze the information. I think that's that's me analyzing how much information I have over vaccines, which is, as a normal vaccine user, very little. Evaluating the evidence.
You should probably use a different word. Call it the V or something, because the algorithm picks up that one.
Oh, does it?
Okay.
Wait,
Speaking of a different word, let me throw in a different topic. Demolish doctrine. Time to read Aquinas, my dude. Thank you, Don Juan, for the kind reminder that we all need to read Aquinas.
Well, I just want to make a comment. So I gotta go. So if somebody wants to debate me right now, or like you want to tell me something, ask me something, now's the time.
I'll set up something for tomorrow if you're free.
You totally rock everybody on this panel again. 9 hours on the physics thing, and then 3 hours here. You've done 12 hours of nothing but solid W's all day long.
You know what? I'm gonna be good faith. Maybe he used up all his brain power in the first 8-hour discussion. So like he came here a little, low on fuel.
Wait, are you saying that he didn't rock everybody?
Anyway,
that's not my perception on it. Just saying.
Okay, so nobody has questions for me, so I'm going
Nice
to
to meet
leave.
you.
Tomato,
Nice to meet
what should
you.
I do? Should I just leave the studio?
Yeah, feel free if you want to give a quick plug for yourself, tell people where they can find you. That's fine too.
My channel, Mr. Slave, at Mr. Slave 41 on YouTube. That's the best place. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, Mr. Slave.
I'll just say it was fun. Flo, can I ask you a quick question? Actually, read this first.
Don Juan coming in with $1.99. Demolish Doctrine, straw man. You haven't read him.
I think we all got to educate ourselves a little bit. But Flo, I wanted to see, do you think there's a difference between like skepticism and conspiracy theories?
I think the difference is basically it's conspiracy theory. Yeah, there is. But generally, the user is using one derogatorily and the other one complimentary. So it's the inflection of the status preference.
And that came out right after JFK. They would just throw that out at people like, "Oh, you're a conspiracy," but they weaponized it. They did to weaponize people, so you couldn't question anything.
That phrase was propaganda in and of itself.
Yeah, it was invented by the CIA. That phrase itself.
And actually, going really quick to jump on what I was saying earlier, I think most people know, most of us here, I think that television is an apparatchik of the CIA, meaning it's one of the tentacles. That's why, I found the reaction to, which it's understandable, like the fact, of course it's silly. Why would a kid's show have...
Were you done with your asking process, or not at all?
I think I just generally want to get your answer, just because I think I'm okay with some healthy skepticism. I'll go right in general a second. I think because I think I'm okay with some healthy skepticism. I don't know where the line is, but there seems to be like some line where that goes in an unhealthy area, and that's what I'm gonna worry about or want to address.
And I think everybody would agree with that. Within conspiracy theory communities, I'm the one that's outside of the group there too, because there is definitely a groupthink mentality, and it's just human nature, right? Echo chambers and all that. But I think that to the conspiracy theorists, what I would say is people who are putting out misinformation, trying to program people away from questioning things and not thinking, they're gonna make conspiracy theories look dumb by promoting dumb conspiracy theories for people to follow. So you also have to be critical about what you follow. Like Mandela effect is, I think, the stupidest fucking conspiracy theory I've ever heard in my life. So anyways, but yeah, that's what I would say to conspiracy theorists.
I don't think the Mandela effect qualifies as a conspiracy theory. Isn't it just more kind of like some sort of weird popular belief? But there's no like.
I guess that's debatable. Yeah, I mean, I could see your point, but it gets pulled into the whole. They're lying.
I guess if flat Earth qualifies, then yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If 6079 Smith's talking about start to finish, anything he says is going to be conspiracy theory.
Well,
but Jano, I wonder if
conspiracy theory is debunked. He's gone.
Yeah, really. Let me finish my thought. What I was going to say is,
I didn't mean to
reaction
take him
got-
off. I would have loved to hear him. Sorry
made me
about that.
think-
I think he's
no.
got. I think he actually is having a bad connection. I think he might be driving because he popped on and then it kicked off, and then he popped on again, and it took a long time for it to
That's
show
really
up.
interesting.
So
He's a numbers guy. He keeps track of numbers like nobody I've ever seen.
He's schizophrenic, is what.
That may be right.
So, Daniel, I just want to ask, like, so you think the CIA is partnering in some way with media companies to like put out certain narratives?
Of course, yeah. But I was gonna say, and the reaction I got made me, while I was sitting in the back, made me think, like, wait a minute, that's actually the perfect place to put, like, because we know they did it with BLM and Remo stuff and Blue's Clues. Like, a kids show is the perfect place to hide propaganda and stuff because no one takes it seriously anyway. It's a quote unquote kids show, so you can hide it easily in there. No one, like, automatically you're dismissed. You're not like, because I know the West Wing did stuff like this too, where they tackled these certain topics. So it just so happens that, again, that's fine. I don't take it personally, like, because believe me, I know all this sounds ridiculous. What I'm saying, like, no,
No. Stand in your square. What you're talking about is definitely a thing, and it's controlling narratives is very. I mean, of course it happens, right? It happens interpersonally. Between
Actually, it's
people.
really called predictive programming, right?
Right, but what we're talking about is perspective control, right? And predictive programming is a form of gradual, mild conditioning.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not far fetched at all.
Yeah, it's been happening for centuries, actually.
The example was just a crappy one. That's anyway.
I mean, controlling the narrative has been happening for centuries. I mean, you can go back all the way back to the 11th century. The king was actually trying to control what people thought, because if it went against the narrative, they would actually try and put them in prison. You know what I mean?
That's my point.
It's the same thing today. It's just this more massive scale. Yeah.
My problem with this
predictive
is, like,
programming. I mean, honestly, even on the predictive programming scenario, have you ever noticed like every other movie nowadays is some kind of dystopian type of a future? There's no positive and fruitful type future that you see in movies anymore. It's more like they want to direct it toward that. It's the same thing like with Danae.
Yep.
So my problem with
sorry.
the predictive programming thing is that if I apply this to like adults and like political stuff, then yeah, that makes sense. If I apply this to kids who don't even think about politics, they're probably not going to associate anything that they see in the show to a political message.
That's the perfect time to condition somebody.
Exactly, because they eat it up like a sponge.
Because
it's
a sponge.
picking up what I'm saying.
But then it's not predictable. You don't know that they're going to.
Until you're about 5 or 6, your brain is in basically a hypnotic state. It absorbs information. It does not critically process it. That's why people who learn religious dogma early have trouble ever getting that shit out of their head. You just absorb.
You realize that there's different forms of memory, though, right? And
I
so
do.
So making associative memories to political concepts would happen later on in life when they're not even watching
it doesn't need to be associative. By the time that they encounter political ideas, it's already accepted because it fits the paradigm.
Can these things they pick up, do they eliminate other programming and other like training that person gets on how to live life, or does it?
I don't know what you're
override
asking me, but I guarantee that you're wrong about it. So
but here's the thing, right? Like someone goes through life. I'm critically thinking right now. Someone goes through life.
You are doing that. All right, I'll give you props. I'll play ball.
Let me play ball real quick. Don Juan coming with the $4.99. D Doctrine. Not if it's inspired by God. Even Jesus visited him and thanked him for writing well of him. Got any more straw mans or ad hominems? LOL.
I know the straw man didn't have a brain, so he couldn't critically think.
Go, Smith, go.
And Don Juan coming with $1.99. Conspiracy. Flow State didn't have a Megazord.
Isn't that the big Power Ranger thing? I didn't even know what that was until last time I was on the with him.
Yeah, you know.
Did you guys know that scarecrows are used to scare crows, and it's called the COVID, and crows are from the Corvid family? It all has to do with Aleister Crowley and his hatred of God.
Amazing.
That sucks.
Oh, are we back? Okay, so just my final question actually really you know what, I forgot. Let's move on.
So okay,
Okay,
all
no,
right,
I
now,
do remember.
all right,
Just
we need
really
to get
quick.
down to the meat of
I
the
do
problem.
remember.
Really, go ahead.
Can I quickly reclaim that? I'm reclaiming my time.
It's funny, Jade.
Take it
If
away.
I grew up and like I hear BLM's narratives, and apparently it's all over the media, right? The media is corrupted by BLM, or something. Can't get away from it. But the CIA is putting this stuff in Blue's Clues, and I don't care about that message until like I'm done watching Blue's Clues. Can't that memory from Blue's Clues be overwritten by the stuff I learned later on in life?
Yes, yeah, you can overwrite beliefs. You can learn new things and change your beliefs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just it's a setting a different starting point.
So
right?
I just want to point out, conclusion. There's no real predictive value because these are kids and we don't know that they're going to make these associations yet, and there's no staying power. And I'm just making.
I appreciate that you're trying to think critically.
I just want to point out.
Daniel, since
point
you
out that the
sent
blue
me that,
party
hold on
left
just a second. Daniel sent me that fucking Power Rangers link, and now my live feed is trying to show me a bunch of Power Rangers shit.
You ruined our algorithm.
You killed it. Fuck you, Daniel. Fuck you very much.
Go Power Rangers.
The left party, the one that supports BLM, because nobody sits at the left hand to guard. People used to wipe their ass with their left hand. Left hand in Latin is sinister, so support the left.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
hilarious.
Because we've had enough of like the good guy narrative, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's-
that's
that's-
I want to ask the question to the panel because I'm open-minded here, but to me, a way more likely scenario explanation is that just like a lot of TV writers are probably more left-leaning, so they're going to probably write more left-leaning narratives and the principles into their work. And so
Are you
that's
familiar
why
with
Even more just like
Operation
historically. Yeah.
Operation
historically creative
Mockingbird.
types
You know what the
than
Operation
left-leaning.
Mockingbird is?
Yeah.
Is it left leaning, or do you have to sell your soul to Satan to get famous?
You
Yeah,
were
the
left-leaning.
Renaissance happened due to the left-leaning part of those times. Like those. Were
Okay,
the
so left hand in Latin is sinister.
artists.
They're sinister. They're the blue party. They're not happy.
And
They're not
Sin-
happy.
You don't
Sin.
realize the Renaissance was a
Happy is
good
a song
thing.
by
You're trying to
Mudvayne.
protect
Mudvayne's band.
what's going on
Yeah.
today.
Four members.
Good distraction for those who still have me blocked from your channel. I'm not a hatred person.
I don't
I'm not.
care if you're hateful or not.
It
You're
looks fake and gay. It looks fake. You look like an agent when you
Yeah.
block me.
That's fine.
Has anybody
I-
ever heard of
that's
the story of
That's
Faust?
safe. That's
Speaking
safe. Push
of
it harder.
agents,
He's
Don
had some good
Juan.
stuff tonight, though. I do appreciate what Flo's brought tonight.
I appreciate
Critically
you
think,
talking to
people.
your sandbox.
Critically
Well,
think.
I appreciate
talking.
I appreciate what Don Juan did by bringing in another $1.99. Fair question, DD. Not all agree with him, like Paul. Are you just up here hanging out and then having a chat war with Don Juan?
I'm not trying to,
complaining.
but apparently yes.
I'm not complaining. You keep doing whatever you're doing.
I'm getting you some little $2 at a time, I guess. So
Well, I like Don Juan when he
It's
does
different
that.
that Don Juan
He
isn't
spares it out.
Or
He spreads it out, and it makes it fun, and it gives
Pause.
me something to do because
When
I
it's
want
spread
to
out,
get back to Cosmic Fox and Flow State and where I think that argument fails. Cosmic Fox, what are the serious scientific competitive theories versus a neosynthetic Darwinistic evolutionary model?
There's nothing seriously competitive anymore.
Bingo! You've never heard of one, and you
Yeah,
have
because
no
there is nothing
arguments.
that can compete. It's
You think.
probably
That's
it's
right.
probably-
Sarah,
Well, no,
Sarah,
can you
Sarah, hey,
probably
thanks
see
for
what's
having me on
competitive?
three
Wait, please. Let me respond. I was talking.
Fucking homos on panel.
This is ridiculous.
See, that's what Flo was trying to say. If they never get corrected, they're going to think that one option is the only one.
Can you think of one that's actually competitive?
That's not the point.
Right, someone actually has to present something competitive first.
What was the
before you can
question?
make that claim.
Okay, what do you know about Stephen Jay Gould?
Nothing.
I didn't want to get into this part of it.
Okay, but
The
nothing.
point is,
wanna
if you
send me
never
something.
hear a competing theory, you never get corrected. That's the point.
Sure. Well, if you have a competing theory, feel free to present it.
Who's Stephen Jay Gould? And
I think that's tactically genius. It's just fundamentally dishonest to do that.
I'll agree
No,
with
if
that.
someone presents a competing theory, then it is up to the scientific community that leans in favor of the old theory to prove them
Punctuated
wrong.
equilibrium is an example.
Sorry, what? I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Something
You've
equilibrium.
never heard of it.
No, I
That's
just
now
heard
that's my
something
point.
equilibrium.
You've never heard of it.
All I heard was equilibrium. What did you say? What did you say before that?
Punctuate. Stephen Jay Gould. I said Stephen Jay Gould and punctuated equilibrium. I'm sorry if you didn't catch one of the words.
Are you aware of any counter arguments that have been presented against it?
Yes, of course.
And
It would be just intellectually dishonest to not look at both sides of any argument.
No, I agree, and I'm going to look it up. I'm just okay. Are you able to say that like those arguments against it are wrong?
It's not the point.
It kind of is.
No, it's not. I mean, it's interesting. It'd be an entirely different conversation. It'd be a good conversation, I think. But it's not the point. The point is that when children hear things and it never has a competing theory, their mind will assume it's the only option. They'll never buck against it.
I agree. That's why we need to teach critical thinking in schools.
Well, we should get back to that.
That'll never happen because the government doesn't want critical thinkers. You know, the government doesn't want critical thinking people that actually question authority and question the narrative. They don't want that. They want you to be obedient and just good little workers. That's what they want. They're not going to teach that.
Thanks for the interaction.
You know? That's why they don't teach really like good economics on how to actually create generational wealth.
Is that what
teachers
want? Is that what teachers want?
Technology are two things the population is left ignorant about on purpose.
Okay, is
the Rockefeller doctrine.
Are you saying that every teacher wants to? Sorry, I'll let you go.
John 1 coming in with $1.99. Darwin was theist that hated Mendel. Funny.
Yeah. Anarchy.
Darwin was a theist until his 10-year-old daughter died.
Turn children into slaves.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Do you think all the teachers that are teaching these kids want to turn children into slaves?
Disingenuous question.
No, it is because if you're saying that's all we
that's
can do,
presuming intentions, right?
Well, he said that like all they do in school is make slaves out of kids.
Do you
the
think
people
that,
doing the teaching are the teachers? So I'm
so
wondering.
the program? Do you know what the Prussian education model is?
Well, I'm just a little confused. I'm here in North America. I'm pretty sure you are, right?
Yeah. We use the Prussian education system. It was developed in Prussia in the mid 1800s. What happened is Prussia was in war, and they had a situation where the troops ignored the commanding officers and fled from battle instead of fighting. And so the Prussian army, the Prussian government didn't want to have that happen again. So they did a lot of research and figured out what the best method of training up obedient, non-independent thinking soldiers would be.
But wouldn't that be like the disciplinary model
education system? Yeah. And it puts students for 8 hours a day in desks, listening to teachers teach them boring, trivial information that they have to memorize. They
familiar?
But here's the thing, like
bores them into a lobotomy state, basically. That's the model that we use.
It goes back a lot further than that. But I mean, also goes back like I'll give you an example.
Centralizing it though, because
I'll give you an example also. When it comes down to like for instance, have you ever read the Willie Lynch letters? Do you know who Willie Lynch was?
Let me close the point before everybody else starts making the thing is that
what I'm saying is when it comes down to what he was saying.
I don't care what you're saying. I don't care.
By the way, my
pronouns
are
we use the Prussian education system. That's what we use in all of our schools. The teachers don't need to know. The teachers don't have any idea that that's how the system they use.
We have recesses and gym and stuff. Like it seems like it's broken up a lot.
You're retarded.
Thank you, Rezzy.
Most schools are set up like prisons too, the way they're built. You know, it's all. Plus, you got the bell goes you from one place to another. There's no real thinking.
It's obedience training. It's not about.
So I think it's a bad point. Why would we not want the education system to make mostly worker bees? We expect most people to be worker bees. We don't expect most people to be entrepreneurs where they are a bit like boss zones.
Well, what confuses me is
the slave mentality.
Let me finish. I'm talking for a while. We don't expect most people to like be their own boss. Like, why would you train most people to do that? We expect most people to be workers, so we're going to train them to be workers.
So you're cool with the government lying?
It's a slave mentality.
It's absolutely slave mentality. Absolutely.
Is that lying?
Because it doesn't train people to actually create businesses. It trains them to just to be workers.
Parents are being told that they have to send their kids to school where we will educate them and make them intelligent, critical thinkers. That's what's being sold.
Isn't lying usually a verbal or written act?
I'm not.
How are they lying to kids?
Nobody's lying to kids. I'm saying that
There
is
are
what-
written syllabus
this is what-
in class that teach children inane things that they're never going to use in real life as an adult.
Okay, that's not a lie either.
It is written.
That's not a lie.
Like for all this, I self-taught myself. School didn't teach me any of this. I learned how to build it and do it myself. So that didn't like just everything I learned through school hasn't really helped me. Even in college, like I
mean,
learned more
the math I
outside
learned is
of it
helping me.
than in it. Well, good for you, but you're like probably in I don't know, like a small or I don't know. I'm a
coder. There are a lot of coders out there.
It goes toward the direction of despotism. All right, like for instance, you're in school, you're reading in this textbook or whatever, and then you happen to see something in this textbook that you know that is wrong, and you start questioning what's in this textbook, and the teacher says, "No, don't question what is in the textbook. It's in the textbook, so that's what you need to know, and that's it." And then if that kid decides, well, okay, well, that's in the textbook, so it must be right. And then he teaches that from there on. Is that it's in the textbook. It's got to be right. Don't question the textbook because the teacher told me so. You know what I'm saying? It leads toward despotism.
Genuine question: is this how like your education system was? Because me, it was just a little different. Like where, for example, in science class, when we brought up like global warming, they brought up like the greenhouse effect, but they're like, it's the best theory we have for it right now, but this might not be 100% right. We might learn something that would make us think this is not what's happening. But we always went to the mindset like this is the best thing we have right now, based on the evidence we have right now. But we're open to something different if that evidence comes up. That's how
I'll give you another example. When I was going through school, they didn't teach me about the Constitution. They just told me it existed. That's all. They didn't go into depth and how all this stuff. They didn't do nothing. I had to learn that on my own. All right. School didn't want to teach me all that kind of shit. They just told me it existed. They didn't teach me anything about the Constitution, what our amendments are, what the Declaration of Independence meant or even said. They didn't do any of that. If you get higher up into like other types of classes that actually focus on that, maybe you'll learn it. But going through high school, I mean, hell, I didn't learn none of that shit. I had to learn it on my own. They don't want you to know this stuff because honestly, if you knew this stuff, you would know how to. You would know what your rights are that is supposed to be protected and ensured by the Constitution, and then you would actually exercise these rights. Well, you got cops nowadays that don't even know the Constitution, and they took an oath to protect them. All right, and they don't even know what they are. They've never even read it. All right. So, I mean, you got authoritarians and you got tyranny that are actually forcing this. It's a communist mentality, really. And they continue to perpetuate this, keep us in line, domesticated animals. All right, it's the same thing like I was saying about the Willie Lynch thing. Willie Lynch used to teach slave masters how to actually keep their slaves in line for hundreds of years into the future. All right, and right now we're just living in that same type of mentality, just in a larger scale. We're all living in basically a plantation. All right, we have to get off that plantation.
I agree with you.
This is not critical thinking right now, what you're doing. Do we all agree?
Let me ask you something. I agree with you that actually, like, sometimes education is lacking and could be better. However, sometimes this is a logistic issue where you're trying to teach so many things. You can only teach so much civics, for example. And if you think that has to change, if you think maybe less English classes are better so we can do more civics, then I might actually agree with you because I think I didn't need 4 years of English personally. There are other teaching. What I disagree with you is like none of this is like fixed. There are other schools you can go to. In the U.S., there are private schools, but I think public schools should have more options that are better funded because oftentimes when we see lacking education, it's a funding issue more than anything.
We've increased
but
funding.
that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Honestly.
Agree. No, because a lot of these different school models, you're not sitting at a desk all the time. You do different things throughout the day. You work with different things. You often have better lab spaces and computer labs to work with as well, which might sound scary, but I think it breaks it up at least. And also on top of that, you might have more one-on-one time with a teacher who can actually develop an individualized curriculum plan. If we put as much money into the education as the military, this would be easy.
We keep getting worse results every year and putting more money in every
Exactly. You can't just keep pumping money into it.
Putting more money in. Don Juan opened his wallet one more time, adding the $1.99. Conspiracy or not, I'll keep cashing in. Just saying.
State of New Mexico right now is spending $120,000 per year per child. yet it's the third worst in the nation.
That's massive.
How much money do we spend per year per bomb?
That's a whataboutism. It
Sorry, I should pass it to
doesn't
Francis.
address the issue
I-
that was just stated.
I should pass. I think Francis wanted to speak. Or
You know,
like, I don't know. Feel like I'm
Cosmic
speaking
Fox, you opened with I like critical thinking.
We're
Yeah.
doing that with you.
Okay, and that's
Yeah, some-
that's
some on this
that's
panel
what I'm
do. I
saying
think
though.
some-
Is like if our values
rubbing
are
your
like
mic,
how much
though.
money we spend per child.
Yeah, if somebody is Scott, I'm gonna mute you whenever
jump
you're
in here.
done moving
Okay.
around your bed or whatever. You can go ahead and unmute.
But I think the problem is we look critical thinking. There's a lot of people on this panel that think they're doing critical thinking, but they're not really doing that. They're like actually coming in here very close-minded with like a thought in mind, and they're doing everything else to like get to that thought.
What critical
like they're
thing-
working
what-
backwards
what-
from their
What's the
conclusion.
thought process that it's not being engaged with that you're trying to engage?
Well, I know what I'm trying to engage with, and that's Don Juan coming in with the $1.99. Stop complaining. Abolish public education already. I love
you
Don.
I kind of agree with that.
I gotta
too.
learn how to flirt with
Don
Don Juan
Juan-
better.
No. But see, Don Juan keeps me entertained. Like, see, this topic for you guys
Yeah,
is
yeah,
incredibly
yeah.
exciting, but for me, it's kind of like I have no idea what we're talking about. You know, I'm ready to go to bed already. But Don Juan is like truly, the chat is winning. But Don Juan has my heart tonight, keeping me entertained. Thank you, Don Juan. Back to you guys.
No, I agree with what that comment actually also. I mean, because you know, it you know, keep pumping money into this thing, and we with you know, this country is really bad when it comes down to the education system. You know, when it comes down to public school system, it's really bad. You know, comparatively to the rest of the world. Hell, you got Chinese kids, you know, that are smarter than a lot of kids here in the U.S. You know, but they spend way more time in that curriculum and learning basic things like math, reading, science. You know, and I mean, you know,
You're right. They're even more programmed to be worker bees than us. They take that to like the 10th degree. Are you saying we should do that?
I honestly think that we need to focus on the basics. You know, we start getting into all this other shit. You know, that's like you get all this like this critical race theory
Answer my
bullshit.
question.
You know,
do you think we should
not
implement a system like
university.
theirs? Wait, I'm asking one question. Do you think we should implement a system like theirs?
no, because I mean, honestly, because I don't like
Yeah,
a
why do you
communist
think
type of
bring that
scenario.
up? Okay.
I bring it up simply because that we are lower than them, and they are a communist type of society. We should actually be better than that.
Argument for communism. I agree with your point. You're making it terribly.
Well, he's just not a nationalist, right?
Like, it's aggravating as fuck. It's like he's so right, and he's really fucking us in the ass by
No,
talking.
I think he's being consistent as an anarchist because he's not being nationalistic and thinking
No.
with the lens of American exceptionalism.
Francis,
No,
you don't
see,
really believe there's
American
people groups that are
exceptionalism?
smarter than others, do you?
Yeah, you know, anarchy. When people think that like America is
What's the
just
question?
great at everything, basically, and they don't actually like critically think about it.
I mean, repeat that. I'm sorry, I didn't even understand what you just said.
I was trying to say that you were right for saying that China is better than us in some ways, even though I think Francis's argument is still better. But just it is like China can be because like there are certain things that they just simply do better, and the only reason you wouldn't believe that is if you didn't critically think and you only saw things through
I've
the lens.
literally
of
never
American
met anyone in my
exceptionalism.
life who believes that America is the best at everything. That's not a person. That's a fucking paper.
Yeah,
tiger.
I know. I know that for a fact that we're not. You know, and we've gotten worse over the years. You know.
But with the education system, I think America has the best capacity of any nation, and I'm saying capacity here, to put that funding to good use. If you want to talk about like, do we need federal mandates that overcome like state legislation and say like Republican interference, so that way we can actually push these progressive agendas? Then
Wait a minute. We pump a lot of money. Well, a lot of our wealth gets stolen from us in the form of taxes. Hell, they get. I'll give you an example. Like for instance, just recently we had a damn hurricane. We had a damn hurricane and shit, and all this money was going to damn Ukraine and Israel, but yet we don't have any money here for the people that were here.
That's the military. Let's stop spending on the military. Put into public education.
Hey, hamster, you just displayed your bias.
Hamster.
you just said these Republican policies. You have an emotional, biased perspective on all issues we're going to talk about.
I mean, if you want to talk about a private,
That was funny.
it really was. If you want to talk about a private option too, like that's just a different discussion. Yes, I do default toward
I don't want to talk about any partisan topic. What I want to say is that I'm pointing out that your approach is fundamentally, it's rooted in political bias. You're not interested in your tribal thing.
It's also rooted in theft.
Well, I
leftist,
think
so
Don Juan's
I make certain
comments
prescriptions.
are
It's not bias.
rooted. I think Don Juan's comments are rooted in the in my best interest. So thank you, Don Juan, for the $1.99. In Hong Kong, you can open a business in 1 day. Let's fucking go.
You can here too. You just don't register the motherfucker. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I agree.
Sarah, just by the way. But yeah, I'm a leftist, so the prescriptions I make aren't necessarily a bias. Did you change my fucking name?
See, that's the thing. See, that's the thing. It's like,
not fair. I'm calling.
When you start talking about, government, putting more money into it, that's actually your government has nothing to offer anyone that it doesn't take from others. All right. It steals our wealth to actually, distribute it out to all these other things, not even in this country. All right.
Are you libertarian?
All of your points. Who
Are you libertarian?
Anarchy. Everything that you're saying is from an emotional, whiny ass bitching point. Stop bitching.
Fuck off, Diplo.
You're not
figure out how
responding to what we're saying.
Effective. You're useless.
You're not actually responding to anything.
No, I have my own answers for myself. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Like I said, I think you're lazy, Flo. You want somebody else to do all the work for you. You don't want to do the work. You want somebody else to do all the work, do all the research for you, and tell you how to think. That's what you want.
I'm literally telling you to stop engaging until you figure out how to make an argument that contains information instead of just, this is fucking wrong.
No, I'm telling. Okay. So I'm saying, with the problem, trying to fix the problem is the problem. We need to eliminate what's causing the problem in the first place. You have to eliminate the problem, what caused the problem in the first place. The first thing is that the problem is caused by government most of the time. Government is always the aggressor and the problem.
Well, really,
go ahead.
We the people.
It's the people. There you go.
In order to form a more perfect union, you're saying in order to fix the problem, we have to eliminate, or to solve make the solution, we have to eliminate the problem. What you're telling me is we have to eliminate people. And okay. Hey, GS. Let me throw this in there. I'll just give you another little example. Like, for instance, on a recent, rubber meets the road scenario, this hurricane scenario, the people got together and started helping each other. All right, and without government, and in some aspects, and despite of government. All right, and there are times when government gets in the way and actually threatens to arrest people if they try to help people. So that right there, when people get together and actually start helping each other and actually start doing things for each other and helping, that is actually a form of anarchy. That is not subservient or to government. Government only wants us to be working for it and dependent on it.
You've already said that. Look, are you refusing to pay taxes? Did you open a simple savings account so you can gain on what eventually is going to be collected by the government in taxation? Used the excess that you gained in interest to benefit your direct community. Did you do something like that?
I've done that for myself. I can't say I don't have enough to give to others. I got to fix my own house first.
God.
Daniel.
Hey, Daniel. Good evening, Daniel. We'll be over. Yeah, we'll be over on Kick watching and reviewing cat lickers. You can keep with their life-denying situation. Government don't give two flying fucks about them, and vice versa. But they can keep with the political cope. Nothing's going to change in their lives, unfortunately. Not you or any of you on that. Especially not you retard up there, Flow State. You're such a fucking dunce and a retard. You actually believe that the moon landing was fake. Have you ever heard of Cape Canaveral? Have you ever read?
You're a boomer. You're from the generation.
Did you ever read? You're a moron. You're a moron, and you're a fucking
So did you see? Did you hear my? You heard my original challenge. Then
you're a redact. Any man that doesn't believe that space or the space program.
Calm down, your little estrogen self.
You're a retard. I hope. Listen, your dollars are going to wind up on OnlyFans, and that's where they should be. I'm going to.
Shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
People say that you're a
morons.
pedo.
Yeah, I
Hold
know.
on,
They'll
let me
ping us
ask
to
you
the
the
moon.
question.
No,
Let
we
me
need
ask you the
less of
question.
people. There's no question for morons like you. All you
Remember
need is
how
a
offended you were when Sarah was like, "Who would let a kid around this dude?" This is why.
Well, now that we have a pause, Don Juan coming with the $1.99. Karuma the hamster. Anime watchers left the chat. Thank you, Don
I disavow that man.
I love Don Juan.
I
Don Juan?
actually was.
Oh no, not Don Juan. The Maxer.
Oh. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. He's officially going by Tomato General for the next 10 minutes until he realizes he needs to change it.
I still don't know how to change this. But
I think this is
anti-king.
Power Ranger guy is hilarious. That's great. Because I am Power Ranger
I'm just gonna rock it. I don't care.
At the bottom of StreamYards, you see your picture. You click on the little 3 dots in the white square in the upper right-hand corner of your picture.
Oh my god. Okay.
One of the options is going to be changed. Okay.
Why'd you have to tell her? You don't tell them how to change it.
Because there was an
until they're about to
inquiry
leave.
about facts.
No.
So I mean, when it comes down to the conspiracy, because honestly, I believe the conspiracy is a conspiracy, in my opinion. All right, the thing is like I said, the whole term conspiracy theory was invented and propagated by the CIA. It's a derogatory type term. It's to try and push everybody in a box to saying, well, you're going against our narrative, so therefore we're going to label you as this. All right, and then that becomes a derogatory term. That's why I think that the whole scenario, that the conspiracy theorist thing, people have called me that for years. They've called me a tinfoil hat thing or crazy or whatever. But until all my shit ends up coming true and they start realizing it and it gets put on CNN, then they're like, oh, shit, Wingnut, you were right. Well, I was no fucking shit. I was right. You know what I mean? But, just because it came on CNN, therefore there it becomes credible. You know what I'm saying?
So I think the word the word can be used derogatorily, but it also has a lot of utility, right? Because we want to be able to describe people who generally spread misinformation.
That's putting a label on people. You're trying to lump them all into a box.
I want to address this information live because I've heard this mentioned before. But actually, the term conspiracy theorist actually was used way before the CIA's founding. It was used in print in the year 1870 and further on. The CIA wasn't invented until much later on, so that's just complete BS. I think that the CIA.
Would you agree that it was popularized by the CIA in the United States? Would you agree with that?
That's not the original claim. That's moving the goalposts.
Okay, it was an inaccurate claim, and your point stands. But would you agree that the CIA popularized it in the United States?
I'd be open to it. I'd look more into it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Right. So the America was formed by a conspiracy against the crown, and I think not all conspiracies are necessarily bad. Some are very beneficial. Furthermore, the Hegelian dialectic is actually being perpetrated against us in all different directions: problem, reaction, solution. And guess what? With respect, I understand what you're saying there, anarchist. But you're providing the reaction that the government's looking for so that they can implement their already pre-planned solution. Is if you react out of pocket, then you're ungovernable. They create martial law. They take all your precious guns away from you. And then you're properly effed, and now you're a communist. Congratulations.
Well, in some respects, Jess, I kind of agree with you because I'm an individual.
Yeah.
But, they didn't get their power as individuals. They got their power by indoctrinating. It's kind of like back in the day when there was kings and queens with a castle and a moat, and they had knights protecting them, and all the peasants actually believed in this God-ordained fucking power that the kings have. They all believed in it, all right? Well, it took them a while to get to that point, and we're just on a more massive scale. Well, me as an individual, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I mean, hell, I can't protect myself from a whole, crowd of 1,000 some odd people or more. You know what I'm saying? No, but that's the thing. It's we have to change that mentality of that, in a sense, and to grow into a more of a, a more unified, singing the same song scenario, in a sense.
Right.
Because we're all, there's so many people singing that song of slavery right now. Go ahead.
He's talking about you, motherfucker. Listen to what he's saying and know that it's about you, not society.
Right. So
Let
thing
me
is,
intervene for just
Right.
a moment. Don One coming in with the $1.99. John Deadman, LOL. I have a buddy named Roberto. And just for the record, Flow State, we're not going to let Hormaxer get away with the shots that fired at your daughter. Well, he said daughters, but that's not allowed on panel. I know I very clearly made that rule, especially the other day. Very well known. So just so you know, we're not going to let
And
that
I'm
one.
sure, I have no doubt that he's been doxxed by now. And if anybody knows where to find his docs,
Oh, he says his last name on screen all the time.
oh, does he?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, GS. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
GS,
interrupt.
you. My apologies.
So the reason, like, I don't like the whole,
okay,
you know, you're not going to be able to fight against the government thing is just because, like, generally, you tend to, or sorry, maybe I'm mistaking you for someone else, but aren't you pro-gun? Like,
Guns are amazing. I'm super pro gun.
Like pro 2A, but like for you, generally.
Yeah. So I don't understand the. Yeah.
What's the point of 2A?
It's well, I mean, it depends on how you want to interpret where a comma is.
Okay, so you don't think that like part of sorry, I guess like I'm ascribing to you what I've heard.
Are you asking me a question, or you're asking?
Yeah,
me
I guess
I'm
I'm about to ascribe to you what I've heard from most people, but the whole point that Americans are telling me of having guns and stuff is that you're going to be able to like, if the corrupt government comes knocking at your door, or a foreign corrupt government even, then you can fight them off. But I guess it sounds like maybe you're not.
Well, it's for a whole plethora of things. It's necessary, right? That a well-trained, well-regulated. Regulated means trained. It doesn't mean regulated as in regulations. A lot of people don't understand that concept. So
You said it's interpretable, right?
Well, no, I didn't say it was interpretable. I said some people like to play games with commas, and whether something's a preamble or I'm not.
Why
really
would we mean
interested
that
in-
well-regulated means regulations first?
Well, for me, I'm not interested in having a debate about whether or not I'm going to have a gun. I'd be more interested in seeing if you could pry it from my cold, dead fucking hand someday. That would be what I'd be more interested to see if you were able to do that, regardless of rhetoric.
Well, I don't
whether
know
you're
if
the government or a hamster or whatever else, at the end of the day.
I don't know if you have kids, but here's my issue with that is that if you do, then they're just inherently in more danger, as well as your community, your wife or significant other, and yourself. This is statistically true, and a lot of firearms researchers agree with it, because right now, gun death is the leading cause of death among youth in America.
Bullshit.
How many lives? How many lives? Hold on.
No, it's not.
Bullshit.
How many lives are saved every year from someone even just having a gun on their person, or
Very few,
brandishing
actually.
a gun, or
People are
using
not
a
safe
gun?
for
Not
initiating
count.
that. Very
There's
few.
no way to
People are
measure
not
things
safe for
that
initiating
didn't
without a shot being fired.
Probably
There's
very
more
few.
people killed by cars every day than fucking guns. Should we outlaw
Hammers.
Well, I
cars?
just want to respond to
Hammers.
generally,
Hammers.
because the problem is that
wait,
guns
let
are
me-
used way
let me
more
back
for
up.
intimidation than protection.
Let me back you up because I'm just looking at
That
stats.
can be protection.
Since 2020, firearms have surpassed motor vehicle accidents as the primary cause for death of teens and children.
And remember Greece?
Mhm.
Remember when like they were all getting into
Bullshit.
accidents and stuff?
They're
It's a-
putting
it's
a microscope
really
on it.
true.
That's why you're hearing more of it.
Yeah, why that is, but
Can you
It
put,
may,
you
may
also
have
just put
surpassed.
that
Is
in
it number
chat?
one? Because the claim was it's number one. Is that true?
Yeah, it
Since you're
surpassed it,
looking
and
up
it is the leading
statistics.
cause of death.
Okay, it leads over.
How
car
many
accidents,
of those are
according to
suicides?
that survey?
Yeah,
that doesn't
that's-
make it number one.
Well, it
They
wouldn't be
never
a
leave
survey,
that.
it's
They never
just-
put that in.
I don't know if it's number one yet.
Okay.
I just know
well,
it did surpass motor vehicle accidents.
I thought
that's
you were
for
on that particularly.
How many of those are
So would you
suicides?
prefer that people get stabbed than shot?
Is this going to change the fact that guns are the leading cause? And this is
Right.
from
So
Hopkins.
if
No,
instead of-
guns don't kill
instead of killing
people.
each other
People
with
kill
guns,
people.
People start killing each other with knives. Is that better for you?
Probably actually, because then you can't kill them from a distance.
Holy shit.
So,
Well, that way it's-
murder is better if it's closer.
Yeah,
If it's
also,
close and
it's hard to
personal
headshot
and
someone
it's,
with a knife.
Nobody's making an argument that it'd be harder to murder more people with.
Yes.
You know, in the UK, they have a higher percentage of home invasions with the homeowner's home than we do here in the US.
Do you know that?
Lethal. I wonder if they're more lethal. I don't know these statistics, but if they, I'd be shocked.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, UK doesn't have guns, but yet they have more home invasions than they do with the homeowner's home than we do here in the U.S. You know, when you start talking about, you know, when it comes down to guns and all that stuff, you know, majority of those statistics that you're pointing out are suicides. They're not actually
let's
you know.
use our words wisely. Don Juan coming in with the $4.99. Sarah, you're messed up. LOL. Stop insulting my friends. Santa Claus is early this year. Ha. GS does love to spurg as much as he loves the foreign workers. Is that right,
So
GS?
as of 2022, gun deaths have become the leading cause, according to John Hopkins and the report that
is that violent or self-inflicted?
Both. That's why
you can
gun
say
ownership,
that, but I was trying to
that's
make a
why gun-
difference without using certain words, and I wish you'd answer to the
Yeah, I
spirit
know.
of the
That's why
question.
gun ownership. No, I'm saying both is why gun ownership makes the household more in danger, because people who use guns as a means of doing that, you know,
But I thought your objection originally was
They're more
people
likely-
using
they're more likely to
firearms to
deceive.
overpower other people, in which case self-inflicted wounds wouldn't be something you could quote.
The hamster is obviously biased. Like I pointed out, this is a biased, politically partisan perspective on
This
everything.
isn't just my opinion. The
Wait,
majority
you
of
don't want to
firearms
understand
researchers-
your opinion.
It's
It's
too
not your opinion.
complicated.
It's your allegiance.
It's
not
the majority of
complicated
people.
to say-
Can I answer Ponces because he's talking to me? The majority of people who study firearms, these are people who are the most knowledgeable in this category, agree with me.
Okay, let me ask you, hamster. When it comes down to it, if firearms are so dangerous, and government takes away all our firearms and stuff like that, who should control all the firearms?
I'm not saying I have a prescription for that, but let's look at prescriptions we can do within our current existing framework. Gun buyback programs have been shown in places like Australia to be.
Well, how
very
can the
effective.
government buy back a gun that they never owned in the first place?
That was
and on top of that, the
That's why
money
they're
is
buying
actually
it.
stolen from
That's
us
why
in the
they're
form of
buying it.
taxes.
What
When
is
it
that?
comes
That's why they're
down-
buying it.
Government doesn't buy anything without stealing our money first.
Settle the
It ne-
fuck down. Jesus Christ.
This message is sponsored in part by
Fine, if you want to.
This message is sponsored in part by
If you want to
All
call it
right.
a tax re. Oh,
Hold on just a second. Those were for Don Juan for his wonderful contributions this evening. Rude Mud Crab comes in with the $5. The argument is that you can't delete 20 people in under a minute with a blade.
You can't. Yeah, you can. Like
a lot harder.
read
Let's
news
that.
in Europe. They have mass stabbings all the time.
A lot
Ooh,
of
and-
bad
Find me
ones
one where
lately.
20 people died, please. I dare you.
Don Juan says
Well-
that the girl on the horse will be in Vegas on the 18th. That's exciting. Don't tell Hormaxer.
I'm not retrieving information for somebody whose view won't change because it's group oriented.
This is
Your
what-
view
What about
I'm
that guy that
providing you
stabbed all those
information
people
from
in
John
the shopping
Hopkins.
mall?
And Harvard.
What about Harvard? Harvard agrees with you. Is that what you just said?
The information of firearm researcher surveys that I'm about to provide is from Harvard, and they
No.
have an entire
I'm not
research
interested
focus
in
group
arguing with
about
somebody
this.
who has a religious belief. Your belief is not grounded in
You're not
data
addressing
or
my arguments
reality.
at all.
Your belief is based on your allegiance to the Democrats, judging
That's
by
just
your
an ad
earlier.
hom, so you don't actually have to address anything I'm saying.
No,
Can
it's not an ad
anyone
hom.
actually
You
address what I'm
slipped up.
saying?
You slipped up and exposed your worldview when you slipped in that the Republicans were doing X, right? You
Yeah,
showed
they're
your
generally
bias. You
bad
didn't mean
for
to. You
social
tipped your
programs.
card.
Republicans are generally bad. If you don't know that, you're politically inept.
What?
No, I'm not political. I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat.
social programs
I'm talking
work? How
about
do social
addressing
programs
reality
work?
and how we suss out what's
How do
true from
social
what's false.
programs work? Can you show me, demonstrate some, that you understand
No,
politics? How do social
I'm not going to
programs
try to
work?
demonstrate somebody who's determined not to change their mind. Why the fuck would I do
Social
that?
programs work through public or through government funding, and guess who doesn't like government spending the most?
And,
Republicans.
and guess
Wow. thank you,
how
Catholic.
does government get that money?
Oh my God.
There's actually other things too, like government can subsidize businesses and receive returns on
Government doesn't have anything to offer that it doesn't steal from others.
So
the
I would
hamster.
like
The
to-
hamster. Go ahead, Jess.
I would like to say that hamster does seem like. Well, I kind of get what about to rage quit. So you got a new title there, Flo.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's about
Who
to
paid
rage.
to change that, or is Sarah just entertaining herself?
I changed all of yours a little bit ago. So we have about to rage quit for flow state. We have, ew, did you change? That's gross.
What are you talking about?
I wrote it's Spurg or
Uh-huh.
something, and then you changed it. That's gross. And then
How was that gross?
now
Just
you're
you accused me of Spurgin.
Move away from it. Take the L and move on.
Don
I'm
Juan-
helping you out. He's trying to splooge on you.
Then we have Don
No,
Juan
Spurg.
Festy Forever. I see you adjusted it. And then we have Angry at the World. Then we have Mike Noisemaker for Scott. Then we have Princess for Princess. We have Hamster Furby now. And then we have Power Ranger Guy. And now we have Cocksquatch.
Yeah, I felt
he's
like
got his
calling me a
tinfoil
Am I
hat
properly
maker
dressed?
was like you're kind of underselling my brand a bit, so I had to make sure people knew. I was
No, this
whatever.
you
This is
actually
quite the
this
thing.
panel
With
is gonna need
Sasquatch,
it. You're going to need your regular helmet and your short bus because this is.
Do I need to
I
put a
love
cork
everything
in
you
my
got
fork
going
so I
on.
don't poke it in the eye?
Everything you got going on is magical. Thank you.
Strong arm.
Sasquatch, you might
And
need
while
another
we're in a
layer.
moment, $1.99 coming in from Don Juan. Reading Aquinas would avert all of these tragedies. Just saying.
Some of us want to see the world burn though, and we'll never read Aquinas just because we're assholes.
I can respect nihilism.
Sasquatch, your uniform is not complete until you have aluminum earplugs.
Well, I need to be able to hear y'all in order to hate.
No, we got people on here that are not listening at all. Trust me.
You just bring in your pre-existing hate and then just let it loose, right?
There you go.
You might need a couple more layers of tinfoil. We're getting in pretty deep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find like a car wheel or something to bring as a hat. Just getting.
I always wanted a tricorn hat, like a captain's hat, in tinfoil.
Just buy one and wrap it in tinfoil. Yeah, you can do that.
So I just wanted to refer back to those firearm researcher surveys. They asked, "Does a gun?"
You
make
are so
home
dumb.
safer?"
Nobody's engaged in this conversation with you. I know
You're
you want
very
to
afraid of what I have to say.
your rhetoric, but I've already told you I don't want to
Hey,
have a
you're gonna let me
conversation with
speak,
you
blah, blah, blah.
because
Just
you're.
finish up.
No, I'm shitting on
So-
your conversation on purpose. My
Okay,
point
cool.
is not to communicate to you, but to stop you from communicating at this point.
Yeah, you're a bit of a coward, aren't you?
No, I'm just
The conspiracy is government is trying to disarm all of us. That's one of them, right there.
Can I try to build a bridge? Do y'all not agree that at least statistically, if you own a gun, if you own one of those, you're more likely to have something bad related to that? Do you not agree with that?
I've got 3 guns sitting right next to me, and none of them's killed anybody.
Right past my entire point, which is that hamster is determined to not change its mind, whatever the fuck it is.
I want to know what the hell the word.
So why would I
means.
argue your point that it is religiously set on not changing?
Why would I believe you over firearms researcher?
So Power Ranger Guy is heading out, so we want to go ahead and give him a moment to closing thoughts.
Sarah, thank you for having me. This was fun. Thanks for humoring me with the Power Ranger clip too, and that's fun. So, but if you guys want to subscribe to me, subscribe to Romano Productions. I think the link should below, or I could put it in the chat again if you want. But either way, thank you for having me. This was fun, and I'll see you guys around.
Awesome.
Later.
Thanks.
Hamster, does your firearms research actually include how many cops, how many people have died by the cops' hands, or how many people have died by military hands?
I don't think
Huh?
cops should have guns here either. It's way better in the UK where they often don't.
Yeah, they just get stabbed instead.
Wouldn't it be ironic if
They're
that
actually pretty good at
happened to
self-defense
the
there. I don't
hamster,
think they get stabbed that often.
I hope your last thought is state warned me about this.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Edward for that chat. That's hilarious. And thank you, Milk Cow, for the $4.99 sticker. We love stickers. Thank you.
So
You're more
firearms
likely to get killed by a cop than you are a terrorist.
64% of firearms researchers believe that that guns make.
Shut the fuck up.
Who actually know
That's
more
because they're
about all
communists
of
and
that
they want to
combined.
disarm everybody.
You are a zealot. You're not a good faith discusser. You're a zealot.
Provide
You
evidence
have
of the contrary.
points. You're
instead of
not
just
going to
asking
back down from them.
hypotheticals.
All you will do is sit here and spray exactly the same silly rhetoric driven from the same statistically insignificant sources, and that's all you're going to do.
How's it?
I'm not listening.
Am I the only one that noticed the percentage there was
One
64%?
at a time, guys. You know the rule here. One at a time. Don't make me
I
like
don't know who's
yell
gonna
at you
go
and
next.
shit.
Let me back you up because if you guys don't agree with the stat, like refute the stat. You guys are not
No.
doing that. You guys are saying, no, I'm not going to listen to you.
Francis,
What you're
address
saying.
my prerequisite issue. Why the
Well,
fuck
she's-
would we have a conversation with somebody about a topic when they're not interested in the?
She's bringing a fact. You can debate the fact.
She's not open. This is not an open conversation. That's what I'm telling you.
Yes.
Why would I come willing to accept new information to a discussion with somebody who's not willing to do the same?
No, I am. I'm waiting for you to provide
Ask me a question. If I'm debating a flat earther and they're not open to my globe theory,
Why
I'm still
would
going to
you waste
debate
your
on
time?
whether or not they're wrong.
Why would you waste your time
Francis.
arguing with somebody?
You just
Go ahead.
can't tell me why I'm wrong.
Francis, would you really quote something that was only 64%? Would you really?
Yes,
I heard
64% of
80%
people who
of
study
all
this. That's
stats
the
are made
majority.
up.
What's your critique of the stat? I'm honestly curious.
Let's say it is 64%. That's just over half. I don't even know where the statistic comes from.
Yeah, I'm not, and I'm actually trying to shit
what
on
their
this
bias
chat engagement
was.
at all because this is a bad
It's way
faith discussion
closer to
on one side.
two-thirds
Just
than
because
over half.
you agree with it, Princess, doesn't mean that it's a valid discussion.
Hey, Princess, if I
66 would be
went to firearms
two-thirds.
researchers,
It's not
and
two-thirds.
2 out of 3 of them said
2 out of 3
me,
gerbils died in the asshole of the person they were inserted into. Do you want to be the third?
it's weird that you know
No,
that.
let me ask you a
I
question.
can vouch for that down in Key West.
Yeah,
That happens a lot.
Why did you choose your little image
Personal
there?
experience, angry.
Wait, let me keep on track. Mel, I don't think you are being bad faith. Am I wrong that if you saw a stat that showed otherwise, you would change your mind, or would you? Are you so dogmatic that you would not?
What would a bad faith person say to that question?
I would
Francis,
change my
you
mind.
genius.
Well, I did put something in the chat. I don't know if y'all saw it, that there was an estimate from the government that about 1.5 million per year are saved with the use of a weapon. That doesn't mean that it's actually being used. It just means that it's either being brandished, it's on the side of their, like it's holstered, or it's visible, open carried, or actually used and and discharged. That's way more than the lives that are being taken. Why do you not care? Can I finish? Can I finish my state? If we're going to grant that you're going to say that the leading cause of death is X, and I can demonstrate to you that there's estimates that 1.5 million lives are saved that would have been not saved had there not been a gun in the situation, doesn't that really just outdo the greater evil?
And now watch me be proven right with the response. Go ahead.
I mean, if I'm granting your statement to be true, and you're in good faith granting that I'm not trying to deceive you, and we're saying that conservative.
I've posted mine.
I printed it.
Can you put it inside chat as a link that way?
I'm curious here. I'd like to see
That's a
it.
valid request. I'm interested to see the assessment afterward.
1 second. Yeah, I'll bring it back up.
I'm angry at the world. You should learn how to be effective from that right there. That was a fantastic demonstration of not being a whiny little bitch.
Oh, fuck
Mostly,
off.
You're interested in Furby just confirming your assessment.
Huh?
You're only interested in Furby confirming your assessment.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. My
Yes,
interest in this point right here is purely to prove that Furby's a piece of shit.
Okay, you can try to reiterate your point, but you'll have to explain.
I'm
how
not trying to reiterate any point. Everybody gets it except for you. Why would I need to reiterate it?
Can I make a point?
Well, then I don't have anything to like.
You already have one on
verify.
top of your head in tinfoil.
Just in case y'all get really deep. Yes, sir, I do. The point is, Second Amendment shall not be infringed.
Yep.
Those
Bingo.
words by themselves.
Be amended, right?
All
Can
your
be
other
amended.
arguments are immaterial
Can it not be
until we
amended?
can actually get a group at the head of our nation that believes some trash like you do. Try to. That is the hill I'm willing to die on. By the way, you remember you asked me what hill am I willing to die on? That's the one.
Tinfoil Windsor.
There you
Can we not amend the Second Amendment?
You can amend many things, but it won't change what
Not
actually
fine.
happens in America.
See, the thing is like the first 10 amendments of the Constitution are rights that are actually enumerated by God themselves or the Creator, whichever you want to call it. All right, it is given to us by the Creator, not by government. All right, those things were not given to us by government.
But yeah, back to the actual topic.
Thanks for
Mel-
making things worse. anarchist.
Mel brought up gun buyback programs, which I think would be a way where you can kind of address the gun issue without necessarily taking people's guns away. So I don't think she's necessarily for doing.
It worked in Australia because it was mandatory.
You're going to trade me a PS4 for a broken firearm? Is that what
When
you're
we
saying?
try buybacks here in the States, people end up giving them like trash, broken guns and like all sorts of junk. It doesn't work unless
I wasn't going to say that because it does make people upset, but you just made the argument for me that it should be.
I'm not talking to you at all. I'm waiting for your response to what Generally Specific said so I can demonstrate that you're a religious zealot.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take over for a moment. I do have somebody in the backstage. I'm going to let them up in a second, but I will have to voice confirm unless they came up in the back first. But Rude Mud Crab comes in with the $5. 247 deaths by blade in the UK so far this year. 482 mass shootings in the US this year. These things aren't even comparable. Thank you, Rude
I would
Mud
like
Crab.
to readdress that because your number of 482 is way low if you include drug involved or gang involved activities.
Which they're
That
not even
is
counting for
fair.
the most part.
And
They don't even count that.
Can everybody hold for a second? King Steven, can you voice confirm for me?
Hello, it's me. It's me.
I recognize that closeted voice anywhere. That's him.
Can I get like maybe
State's gay.
3 minutes to read this article real quick and get
Oh,
the panel
God.
can?
I have a question first. I
It
just have a
probably
quick
wouldn't
question.
even take 3 minutes. Go ahead.
I already have some
That's
pushback.
what
'cause I
she
think
said.
You might walk it back, but I think previously I think you kind of misconstrued what this research is saying. But I want to hear you address it first.
So I'm just going to read what, I mean, this is Forbes. I think it would be considered a somewhat reputable, not a rag. I don't think it's left or right necessarily. I don't know a lot about Forbes.
It's a rag.
Okay, so maybe it's a rag. But it says, in particular, a 2013 study ordered that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, it's a governmental organization, which probably has every reason to steer you whatever way it wants to. So let's take all this with a bit of a grain of salt. And conducted by the National Academies Institute of Medicine and National Research Council reported that, so that sounds all pretty official, reported that defensive use of guns by crime victims is a common occurrence. But then it goes on to say almost all national survey estimates, now these are estimates, indicates that defensive gun uses by victims are at least as common as offensive uses by criminals, with estimates of annual uses ranging from about 500,000 to more than 3 million in the context of about 300,000 violent crimes involving firearms in 2008. So what this is saying is if every time a gun is used, someone would lose their lives, we'd be looking at 500,000 to 3 million
That's not
people
what
a year
that's not
dying.
what it's saying at all. No, you're misconstruing it. Actually, the authors actually go to the original. The authors actually say in addressing that in particular. The authors
Slow down,
Wait.
slow down, so I can
Authors-
understand.
Take a breath.
Tough mess. The authors and researchers agree this number does not represent lives saved. It's just the amount of times defensive guns were used. It does not
Right.
represent. You can't take this and say.
Now I want
therefore,
you to
this many
think
lives
about
were
it.
saved.
If the hamster, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, ma'am. I apologize. I'm not trying to be
Melanie.
disrespectful.
No, the
what is
hamster's
it?
fine.
Melanie, that's right, Melanie. Okay. So if what Melanie is saying is the use of firearms makes neighborhoods more dangerous, if you're saying victims using firearms in order to what? If they're being a victim of a crime and they're using a firearm, they've stopped themselves from being murdered or robbed or have their property damaged or stolen or
See what you're saying? You
road
can't-
rage.
you
Now
can't
hold
do that
on.
with the stat.
Now
You
hold
can't- the
come on.
stat-
See,
this does
see,
not
you're not
say that,
see,
though.
and I'm starting to think Flo is 100%.
I'm going to say
right.
the same thing he said. So why don't you just address process?
Okay, so well, I am trying to address him. He's like interrupting me, and every time I get to the
Just
point,
let me know when I can get my fucking W over
This is
here.
that. Literally, the point the authors say
Right.
that's not how it should be used.
what?
The
Okay,
authors of the study are literally saying no.
so you're not so
and
I
they're doing
get
that.
to grant that whatever government organization he's quoting is true, but when I quote a government organization such as the CDC and the National Academies and the Institute of Medicine and National Research Council, you're telling me it's fucking flawed.
No, the study is good. You're taking
the study's
it
good.
Yeah, listen
Then
to
let me finish my fucking point before you interrupt
stop
me.
being triggered because you're doing it right
I'm
now.
not being triggered. You're being fucking insufferable.
You are using the study in an incorrect manner. That's
What's
what I'm
incorrect?
addressing.
You keep interrupting me before I finish my point. How do you know my conclusion's correct or incorrect?
Just let him do the straw man.
There's an entailment, princess.
Here, let's just get the straw man out of the way. It's gonna be
There's an entailment here, buddy, that you're missing. That you keep interrupting me right before I get ready to put the
I'll get to
exclamation
it.
mark.
Let's see. I'll see.
Okay,
I'll be
so
open-minded.
if it says right here, almost all national surveys estimate. I got to read it again. I really don't want to have to read this for a fourth fucking time, though.
I'll read it for you. I don't mind.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the quote you were saying before is almost all national surveys estimates indicate that defensive gun uses by victims are at least as common as.
Okay, stop. What's a victim? What's the definition of a victim? How would you define a victim?
I would have to look. I had to look it up. I don't know offhand.
You can't tell me what a victim would be considered.
I'm gonna guess it means someone like an altercation. But
So
I don't know
somebody's
how,
perpetrating
how
a
the-
potential crime on someone that's being victimized. Okay, so let's keep reading.
Can I get the W?
I'm gonna take the W and say Don Juan coming in with $1.99. The South Park episode on guns. Just saying, LOL. And then Jay dropping by with the 2. Can Princess say Silly Sally sells sizzling socks? Go ahead, Princess.
Okay, so gun uses by victims. Go ahead.
And by the way, we're over on the Raging Tomato. The Raging Tomato.
It's tagged in the if that's mine. Yeah, I think it is mine. It's tagged in the title.
And Toddler being more reactive than Princess. LOL. Oh my, that's a shocker.
Okay, can you continue to read, please?
Yes, back to the quote. It was after guns used by victims, at least as common as offensive use by criminals, with estimates of annual uses ranging from about 500,000 to 3 million, in the context of about 300,000 violent crimes involving firearms in 2008.
Okay, so how come there weren't 300,000 people killed by firearms?
Cynthia's a mod over there, by the way. Blue Wrench.
No, but this was saying you can't use that study to say.
Okay,
say,
no.
Therefore, if they did not have guns, they got killed. That's what you can't say.
That's not what he's saying.
As if Melanie's argument is that guns are super, super dangerous and they take lives, and I can demonstrate that victims, with the mere fact that they either possessed, brandished, or owned or utilized a firearm, had violent crimes. 300,000 in a year is the average estimate. Far outsurpasses any of the deaths. So, what is your response to that? And I'll rest my case and let Flo take over from here.
Oh no, I'm done. You'll rest my case too.
So
I think you were asking. Go ahead, Mel. Go ahead.
So
I
would
haven't
you
read my
understand why the research is saying that we have to look at like how many gun deaths are prevented, right?
Yeah, you're moving the goalpost. Your
No, it's not.
assertion
That's not
is
why
that
it's
guns.
important.
Your assertion is guns make the community far more in the household far more dangerous of an environment. And
That's
I'm
not why it's
showing
more
you
important.
I'm showing you with the data right here from all those fancy 3-letter alphabet.
Shown one piece of
mafia.
data. There's an article that links to that
it's
gives more
like
data.
5 different medicine groups.
Yeah, there's an article that links to
This
that
is
gives more
a
data.
correlation of data.
I'm going to read something, and I just
from
want you to,
from the nation.
I'm going to read something. I want you to give me what you think about this. For every criminal killed in self-defense, 34 innocent people will die. However, this comparison can be misleading. An armed civilian does not have to kill a criminal in order to save an innocent life. And then it goes on to say the exact number of defensive gun usages is not precisely known. There are reasons to think.
Why are we listening to this bullshit? You
Let
just
me finish.
got proved
Let me
that
fucking
fake.
finish. You fucking coward.
Ah!
This is called moving the goalpost.
This is way moving the
It's
goalpost.
the key sentence. You're
This
not
is, I
responding to
know.
my
That's
actual
why it's so
point.
good
It's
that I got
the
in
key
there.
sentence. You're not responding to my actual point.
I don't care about your
Yeah,
actual
I know
point
you
because
don't.
you're
You're
not
a coward.
engaging in a
You're more
discussion.
interested in
You're
running the fuck
teaching
away.
a
You
dogma.
can leave the panel if you can't handle what I have to say. The exact number. of
I'm
defensive
enjoying
gun
this the
usages
most.
is not precisely
Oh
known.
my God,
There
it
are
hurts.
reasons to think the actual number may
Nobody
be
can hear
higher
me.
or lower than the
Hey,
figures
for me to
cited.
get kicked off, Furby.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody comes into your home and wants to rob you and take your life in the first place, how do you suppose you're going to defend yourself?
I'm sorry. Please don't grate
Other
me.
forms of weapons in this world.
That's what this hamster's gonna be saying.
I thought you guys are all scared of knives.
I am afraid of knives, but I'm not afraid of Don Juan because he comes in with $1.99. All this gun talk, about to listen to early 2000s rap.
And I wanted to ask, how does the gang violence thing you brought up?
Why are you asking questions instead of addressing the one that was asked to you?
I did.
No, you didn't. You went right around it.
You spoke over me.
You did exactly what I said you would do.
Yeah, you're
Really?
trying to.
You're not worth anybody talking to.
Did that include you speaking over me like a man-child?
That's what I'm doing. Yeah. If you don't like it,
it,
you can time me out, Furby.
Republican tears.
I'm not Republican. I don't vote at all.
True. Me.
You can
I got
super chat
Republican
to
tears in
time
my mouth.
I don't even own guns.
I got little
I
Republican
like guns
tears in my
and
mouth
knives.
right now. So
I like
Not by choice,
No
Bob.
guns. He's got no guns.
I do have no guns. That is correct.
Firing
I got
blanks.
no gun.
He's firing blanks.
So the conspiracy theory is that the government's trying to disarm all of us.
Hey, let me respond here. Because I know this channel does not seem like stats, but I'm just curious if anyone wants to go off this. Maybe also disagree. Do you guys agree or disagree that, at least statistically, if you own a gun and have a home invasion, you actually are not likely to be any safer? The
I feel
stats
like
do
this
not
is a
show
proxy.
that.
No, I disagree.
I really want to squash this conversation.
I think if you own a gun
and
and you're a pussy liberal, yeah, your chances don't fucking increase whatsoever because you're probably going to be scared of it because it's big and black and scary, and you're going to be like, "Oh my god!" You're probably going to aim it. You're probably going to aim it the wrong direction. You're probably likely
have
just like the gangs to shoot some little girl on a tricycle and not hit your target.
You have already rejected statistics, and now you're asking about hypotheticals. I guess you want anecdotal because I can tell you in my life 3 times I've used it defensively successfully. 0 times has anybody died. 0 times has shit gotten worse.
I responded.
I'm not going to let you make points, Furby. Look, Animal, I'm not going to let you make points. I'm not going to do it.
Furby, you got a 2-minute timeout. I'm putting you backstage for 2
You
minutes.
little bitch.
Yeah, learn to answer when men are asking you questions. Assume the position.
And when you come back up in 2 minutes, I'm not going to let you make your point. I promise. You're going to have to pay to kick me off.
You're a
So
bully.
there's 2 ways I could be rude. I could leave without saying thank you all for the experience, or I could say peace and respect to you all. Have a great night.
Thanks for joining tonight. You're always welcome. Have a good night.
I wish he talked over people more. He's pretty smart.
Because honestly, I'm open-minded here, but like at least again, I know stats don't paint the perfect picture, but I think they're an interesting lens to look through. But like at least just on a number basis, it seems like having a handgun like does not really make you safer, and in fact, it can actually make things worse. Where like actually might escalate the level of violence if the perpetrator also has something.
Well, when somebody comes into your house to take with your stuff and willing to kill you, and the same problem, you just bend over and say, "Yeah, I'll take it."
Everything enough already tonight.
And Don Juan comes in with $1.99. 21 Savage featuring Metro booming Glock in my lap.
So
what up? And Izzy asks GS, have you ever shot a gun?
Or not fucking Pronsis.
No, they're big, black, and scary.
Yes.
The hypothetical situation about whether you're at more risk or not.
Guns give me the ick.
If you feel like that puts you at more risk, then you should not own a gun. If somebody else feels like it puts them at less risk, how is that harmful? Why would you be opposed to somebody having that to defend themselves?
And to be clarified, I actually am not anti-gun. I'm totally cool people owning guns, but I do want to kind of back up Mel a little bit.
Well, you're a proxy arguer. If you're backing up Mel, I'm going to shit on your talking points too.
So
that's fine.
I am that petty. I am that fucking petty.
So if we were to do ad populum or
GS, you're backstage for 20 minutes, and then you're welcome to pop back on if you want to wait.
Have a good one.
Damn it, we're just about to talk. See you later.
20 minutes. That's only 20 minutes, and Furby, you're coming back up.
Hi, Furby.
Why are you talking to me?
Is Furby the nemesis of State? Is that what it is?
Furby's a bad faith actor, and I've decided that my purpose for the rest of the stream is not to let Furby make its stupid fucking point. I'm perfect. I was perfectly happy.
That bad faith? I feel like
it is bad faith. It is bad faith.
Are you not worried that your parents are going to see you on here and then like
Not
you're
at
going to
all.
embarrass them with this behavior that they did not teach you to do?
He does this in church.
No parent would.
You don't know my parents.
No self-respect.
Did your parents?
Ever do
Is that why you're hiding behind the Furby avatar?
I'm sure they taught you better.
Okay, you can believe that if you want. Like, what's the point? Do you think my parents would want me to respect a Furby that's arguing in bad faith? You're a religious zealot.
Don't know what's rolling in.
Belief.
Just get
I'm
better
not
at-
interested in religious belief.
Cool. Get better at debating instead of acting like this because you lost.
I did fantastic at debating. I did a fantastic demonstration.
Jerked yourself
of
off
exactly
the
what
entire time. That's
my
not debating.
point that you are a bad faith discussion, a panelist, has been perfectly
If
demonstrated.
you're an example of good faith, then you're inept. Like your definitions are inept. Like we shouldn't use any of your definitions for.
Why
anything.
would Why would somebody engage with a bad faith opponent in good
I've
faith?
literally never been as petty as you, so I'll never be as bad faith as you are.
Yeah, I'll accept that.
Oh damn!
I'll accept that. I'll be petty.
Right. And so, if anything, I'm way more good faith than you, and you're just.
Well, I only got petty once you demonstrated that you were, in fact, not engaging in this as a good faith argument. What you were doing is you were going to propagandize and preach with your dogma. You don't care about the information. You're not interested in receiving anything. The premise that you're here for a good faith argument is itself a lie.
I received information, then found my own statistics that said something else.
You received information. You didn't refute it. You just went past it anyways.
When someone says one thing and then I provide statistics that say the other, that's refuting it. That's that's.
You didn't refute it, though. You didn't refute it.
Okay, that's your opinion, man. You're just wrong.
Right. Well, the point stands that like I said, my purpose here for the rest of this stream is to not let you get your point out on this topic.
Be a little bitch.
You can talk about other topics.
You're being a little bitch.
If you want to get your point out, you're going to have to pay for me. Otherwise,
being a little bitch.
Otherwise, I got you.
What's the definition of being a little bitch?
Not being able to say your point because you're too broke to pay to get me off, and you're too weak to talk over me.
Oh, okay. See, again, your definitions are just inept. There's no point in talking to you.
Right. We agree. There is no point in us talking.
Great. I'm glad we could settle that.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to talk about, though? I'm not as rigidly opposed to points on other topics, but this one you're not getting out. Why do you come up as a Furby? Out of curiosity.
Exact number of defensive gun usages is not precise.
I'm not having this discussion with you. You're not going to get it out. You're not going to.
Like,
You're going to waste
a lot
time.
fucking
You're not
louder
gonna
than you.
flap around.
Called Mike Dominant.
It's not going to get
The
through.
exact number of defensive gun
The
usages
exact
is not
number
precisely
of
known.
part of
There are
gerbils
reasons
that you
to
can
think
fit
that
into your
the number
asshole.
may be higher or lower
La,
than
la, 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 la.
anticipated.
Nobody can hear the point you're making. Nobody can track the information that you're saying.
Okay. Keep praying.
Why don't you figure out a new solution to the problem of you not being able to speak? You don't think I can just keep making noise over you?
Just like
Why? Because I like.
I'm admit
Do
that
you
you're this bad at debate that you can't
think I'm?
respond to what I said. That's fine. You're actually demonstrating.
That's
it.
fine. That's fine. It can be whatever it is for whatever reason you want. It's because I'm retarded and bad faith and evil and I'm a Republican and I'm crying. All those things can be true, but your problem is still here.
Yeah, you're proving me
None
right.
of that shit solves
You're
your
the one
problem.
who can't respond to my arguments. You're
I'm
afraid
not engaging in your argument. That's exactly the
of
point.
letting me finish.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm telling you, bro.
You're afraid of me addressing people's arguments. You're the one. You're a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's fine. Whatever you want to say about me is fine. It can all be true. What are you going to do about the situation you're in? The loud ass silence there. You don't have a plan, do you?
Well, I want to talk to other people now.
I know, but I'm not going to let you do that.
That's like
You need a new course of action.
like how does this help you succeed in proving that you can actually win a debate?
Why do you think that that's what I'm trying to succeed at? That's not what I'm trying to do at all. What I'm trying to do is
Win the
frustrate
debate.
you.
Like-
What I want.
Oh, if you want to frustrate me, you haven't. I'm just waiting for this to end.
Okay. Well, then I want to waste your time.
Okay. You're good at that. You're good at wasting people's time, aren't you?
Yeah.
Are you ever good at like helping people or
Nope.
winning debates?
Terrible at it. I'm the worst at helping people.
Are you good at winning debates ever?
Because I hate people. Nope, I'm stupid at debates.
And why are you here?
Because I'm malicious and sadistic, and I just want to hurt you.
Cool. And so again, like, aren't you worried your parents are going to see this?
Nope.
Why not?
It just doesn't concern me at all.
So the way that your parents reflect on, like,
They would. Part of my behavior that would be most concerning to them is the amount of time I'm spending wasting on a stupid fucking gerbil like you. It wouldn't be how I'm treating you.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I was trying to utilize the time to make a sandwich.
That is kind of breaking a rule, but like,
Mustard.
Like, I just don't understand how he has no shame.
It doesn't matter. You don't need to understand it. You just need to figure out how you're going to overcome it. Put that critical thinking to work. Solve this problem.
Okay.
Make me a sandwich, Flow State.
Conspiracy. It's not a real sandwich.
What kind of sandwich is it?
Ham, cheese, and mustard.
Are we gonna keep?
If the problem you're overcoming is me winning the.
That's the only condiment you use.
Well, when I'm in a hurry, yeah.
Stop criticizing.
All right,
the No, but like, no. Let me.
Let's have the energy down. Let's all.
The only problem that you can overcome is
take the
me
heat down.
winning.
We want to ask you a question.
No, princess. If
Francis is trying to push this forward, but Francis just said you
let him escape again. You let him run away like a little bitch. If the only problem you can overcome is me winning the debate, then why are you here? Just leave.
I already told you to be an asshole to you. That is the whole point of me right now.
Yeah, you're
My
taking
entire
you're acting
purpose
like a
is
loser.
just to make your experience worse.
Make your debate loser if you tried.
I don't care. Yes, I'm a loser. I'm evil. I'm stupid, and everything. My entire point is to make your experience worse right now.
You're getting dominated by Furby. I love it. I love it.
The conspiracy theory is that government wants to disarm all of us because it wants to have control over the guns. It wants to have that full monopoly over violence. All right. That's where it's at right there. That's the conspiracy theory. If we want to get back to the topic of conspiracy theory,
You believe that that's true, right? You think that that's reality. That's not fake.
no, I know that is the reality.
Then
That is
why
the
fuck would
reality.
You say it's a conspiracy theory. See,
I'm
man,
just saying. I'm just trying to throw that back into the topic of conspiracy theory.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
I do appreciate that sentiment or that attempt,
It matters
whatever.
the plausibility of the conspiracy theory. I'd be more likely to believe that's even plausible if, for example, the military ran the government. Right now, the military doesn't actually. We have public servants in office.
The government is not supposed to be the servants of the military.
Exactly. It'd be more plausible if like.
How about this? What's a conspiracy theory we all believe in?
We all do or don't.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus is a good one.
Watergate.
Again,
Watergate was not a
do or
good
don't believe in.
Watergate was a conspiracy theory. It's a
Yes or no, Prontus? We do believe it or we don't.
Yo, we do. Yeah, you do believe in conspiracy. You
That-
do
you-
believe
everyone
that's
does?
valid. Melanie said. Well, I just meant like you personally because I just want to see where all coming from.
I mean,
I know
everyone.
some people have the more ridiculous
The
ones,
Boston
like
Tea
the
Party.
2008 crisis.
Boston Tea Party.
Are those conspiracy theories by definition? I guess so. I never really thought about that.
Well, I got a I guess you would call it conspiracy theory. I guess because I
Well,
can't prove it.
Conspiracy.
But you know,
Flag.
I mean, like for instance, like you know, I think
Your audio's cutting out a little bit. It's just me.
that my audio. But no, I mean, you know, I guess you could classify it as a conspiracy theory. I guess because I can't prove it. But just you know, I think that
It's not a theory. I mean, like,
the government that is in place right now. I think the government that we have, or the thing that's calling itself a government, or the thing that's posing as a government, it's actually a corporation, wants to disarm us and also wants to kill off 90% of the population. You know, because it wants to do that. You know, I mean, you know.
There's no way that's real.
Okay, Scott.
People do fall asleep on.
Oh, what? What was that?
This message is sponsored in part by...
That should wake you up. And
Oh,
Don Juan
that
coming in with
ass.
$1.99. Santa Claus is real. He was here earlier. LOL. Yes. The question is, are you on the naughty list or not?
I'm on the naughty list.
I live on the
See, the
naughty
whole Santa
list.
Claus thing actually goes along with that programming of the children, you know, giving them in belief in a lie. And even in and when they realize Santa Claus is not a real thing, and when they get older, they still propagate that same lie to their children down the line. You know, it's still it's on that same level of, you know, programming the children through cartoons. You know, that's how I see.
Solid way of making the point.
What's your favorite Looney
Not
Tunes
really,
character?
again, like you don't believe it into adulthood.
Ball
so
on,
it
later on.
affects people later on in life, right? It only affects them as children.
What's your favorite Looney Tunes
are you saying?
character of cartoons?
Hey Furby, remember that time that I didn't let you get your point out and you couldn't afford to kick me off the panel?
Yeah, I just don't want to waste my money. You're not worth it.
I know. It's in short supply. I gotta.
Sorry, Sarah, but you know.
She wants to.
That's okay.
She wants
So,
to back
I
in
like
the
both of
marketplace
you.
of ideas.
Am I wrong in my theory
Well, yeah,
on the disarming the public and trying to kill us off?
yeah, like because like
I'm pretty
civil
sure.
servants, when they enter office, they'd have to enter office with that intention,
Sure.
right?
No,
They'd
there's
love to do that.
Genuine question. Why would the government or whoever wants this conspiracy, why would they want to reduce the population by 90%?
It's easier to control.
Okay, can I? So, Aaron, why? Okay, if you're talking to somebody who you know holds a different belief than you, why would you try to convince them by smashing them in the head with the most extreme statement of what you believe possible? Why wouldn't you walk them in through an easier to accept angle?
Why?
Because you want to be effective in convincing the person that you're talking to.
Stop
I
pretending.
don't
you're-
want to have to. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything.
Then you're a douchebag.
No, I'm trying to engage thought. I'm trying to engage thinking, a critical thinking. Okay,
Oh my
you
God.
look at what's going on right now. You look at it. Okay, you take this thing, this beer bug in the arm, as what I call the cupcakes. All right, this cupcake thing that they try to force onto people, and then the corporations that are actually creating this cupcake, they actually lobby to get laws passed where you can't even get any kind of, you can't even sue these companies for damages. All right, that should send a red flag right there. You actually had Bill Gates actually saying stuff like, "Well, if we were successful in this program, we would actually eliminate more people because we want to eliminate more people." Then you got the Georgia Guidestones and all this other stuff.
be a debate coach.
Do you want people to care about the points?
Stop
That you're
pretending to be a debate coach, Phil State. You literally couldn't let me finish before.
No, I'm choosing not to because I'm
Stop
petty.
pretending to be a debate coach. You're not good
I'm
at
gonna back
it.
up. I'm gonna back up a little bit. 'Cause
Are
I
you
haven't
saying
even- wait,
Sasquatch
let me-
killed
let me-
JFK?
One
Is
at a
that what you're
time.
saying?
One second, y'all. I think I have a new conspiracy theory. I forget, who's the guy below me with the ball? What's your name again?
That's autistic
Wingnut.
radio.
Wingnut.
Wingnut. I think I have
Rain
a new
Man.
conspiracy theory. I'm guessing you're like a Fed or something that is really here just to make conspiracy theorists look bad because you're saying are so ridiculous. I feel like
Okay, what would I benefit if I? Let me ask you this: if I was a Fed, how would I benefit in actually trying to put these thoughts in? How would I benefit?
You're making them look
How-
stupid. You're not putting them in. You're discrediting the fuck out of them.
Speaking of discrediting, how dare anybody discredit Santa Claus? There's a guy in the North Pole who dresses up. Just saying. Thank you, Don Juan.
I bet it gets exhausting
Do you
continuing
think
to go with new little like
Sasquatch might have
one-liners.
killed JFK?
with intros
Is
to
that
bring in
possible?
compliments.
Sasquatch might have killed JFK. That's a conspiracy. Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, he had every reason to, right? JFK was onto him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I told no man.
They'd probably still be alive if we could figure out about our gun violence problem, but we can't.
Someone turned down the Furby's volume way down. It's so low.
Oh yeah, I was shouting into my mic. I don't blame Sarah for doing that.
Oh, I'm probably down
Oh,
too.
okay. I didn't know what happened.
Oh, I'm
Can I
not.
back up, Sarah? to
I
normal?
love how Sarah's eating chips over there, just like watching
coming
us
closer to my mic.
freak out.
What's the statistic on like if a burglar wants to go into a neighborhood and majority of them are armed and another neighborhood down the street is unarmed? What's the statistic of that robber going into what neighborhood?
3.
It depends on the race, though. If the neighborhood's black or white, that matters.
And I just want to point out, like, these are not usually the focus of research. If you want to do a research group and do that, that's fine. But like, a lot of like, they're still focusing on like defensive gun usage.
I'm doing a research group on how not to let you talk about that.
Yeah, I know, and you're very.
And I'm good at it, aren't I?
No,
Are you against Negroes owning guns?
Huh?
I'll tell you this, and you know, you think about when it comes down to these so-called mass, you know, unalived scenarios, they all happen in gun-free zones.
Not all of them.
Yeah, majority of them do. Majority of them do.
Wait, show me that.
Not all.
Some of them. I really talked about this Saturday. It was kind of ignored, but I'm here.
Because you know, if people are actually wanting to do harm to others, they're wanting the least amount of resistance because they don't want to die. So they're going to go into a place where they know they're not going to have any resistance. All right? And if everybody's willing to use a firearm in defense of themselves, of their family, or their property, they'll be less likely to actually have any kind of a problem. And honestly, man, if more people did that, there would be less people out there trying to do harm to others because they'd be dead. You know?
What makes you think they don't want to die?
Yes,
America's not a safe
honest question. How do you tell from outside a house whether they have a gun or not?
Do they have a truck in the driveway?
Well, I'll tell you this.
There you go.
It's somewhere.
I mean, that actually.
That's a good question.
You can go into a neighborhood and you can tell what neighborhood would be more likely to not have weapons. You can tell.
Vehicles,
Dude,
right?
Negroes have guns these days.
Listen, the neighborhoods are full of guns. That's literally why they're trying to take guns away from people because they don't know where all the fucking guns are.
Exactly.
So haven't
and then that comes down to the Second Amendment scenario also, because honestly, the whole reason, the whole purpose of the Second Amendment is when a government goes tyrannical, we have the lawful right to defend ourselves from that tyrannical government. That was the whole reason why it was put on paper in the first place.
Oh, so why have burglaries been going up?
Because you can't talk while I'm here, bitch.
Wow.
Wait, why is it that there's also been an increase in gun ownership, yet also an increase in burglaries? You would not expect that if what you're saying is true.
But you look at where those places are, those burglaries are happening, and they're less likely to have a well-armed populace. All right. You don't see that in certain areas, in certain towns. Like here in Florida, in different places in Florida, you don't see burglaries and robberies and stuff like home invasions because every single person carries a gun.
You guys are missing.
No, you go into some areas of towns. Go ahead.
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
so I think it was not so Eurodite that used the analogy of crime increases when the ice cream truck comes around or something like that. And you could come up with this concept that every time the ice cream truck comes around, like all of the crime and murder and whatever increases in the neighborhood. But, you know, it's relatable to the idea that the ice cream truck only comes around in the summertime and the heat naturally makes people do stupid things and yada, 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 yada. So it's not necessarily correlated, right? So even with the guns, like, yeah, maybe more people are purchasing and owning guns, but it doesn't necessarily correlate with the concept that more people are committing crimes, because that can be dubbed back to the economy, society, things going on, yada, 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 whatever. And the question also is the neighborhoods and, you know, correlation.
Can we reduce this to the ridiculous? Because I mean, cameras on your house, security cameras, they don't stop crime. They just tend to take the burglar and move them down to the neighbor's house who doesn't have cameras. In turn, guns don't stop crime, nor are they actually the crime itself. But they just gun zone would tend to move criminals to a gun-free zone to commit their crimes.
Exactly.
Are
you saying that
how do people know that these houses have guns?
Oh, you're both talking.
Yeah, how do people know that these houses have guns?
They have to expect.
I didn't make up trucks in the driveway. I know car thieves.
You can look at people and view them for a few days and kind of discover their mannerisms and what type of person you think they are.
Wingnut, I even tried to search for a source of what you were saying, and I couldn't find it. Could you please provide me a source?
No,
I'm not going to provide sources. I'm on a cell phone also. I'm not going to provide any sources of anything. All right? I don't have a means of actually looking up type of statistics and shit.
Can you tell me where you got the information from?
From right underneath my nutsack, but before my asshole.
I was asking Anarchy, Wingnut.
Taint that a shame.
Yeah, Wingnut, tell Furby where my taint is.
So no answer. Got it.
No, I'm not going to provide any statistics or anything like that because that's not relevant in the conversation.
Where did you hear
that? What do you mean? Where did I hear what?
All right, stop with the fart noises. That's immature.
I
and
didn't know those were
stupid.
coming through. Sorry.
It's still more mature than Flow State.
Earlier. I was going to ask though, does the ice cream man get robbed in the ghetto with the Negroes? Is it because it's hot and they want ice cream? Is that what you were getting at earlier with the ice cream?
You're
truck?
retarded if you put that together that way.
That's retarded.
Yeah.
Your show's retarded. What are you talking about?
Okay. Bye.
Oops.
Damn, got him.
I don't give a fuck. What am I losing?
Also, I'm doing some live research, and actually, I am surprised by this. But at least just on the stats level, again, this is not the only ones to look through, but at least based on the stats, having like a house does not make you like something safer from burglary.
Having what?
Well, then don't have a gun in your house. If you don't have a gun in your house, then Francis, you won't have to worry about that increased risk.
Again, I'm not anti-gun. I'm just saying, if you look at stats,
I have not heard you make anything but anti-gun points all night.
But that's because everyone else and I'm like,
this is what anti-gun people always say. Nobody's trying to take your gun. We just want to make it so you can't have this and this and this, right?
No, it's just saying the facts of the matter.
I mean, even just recently that there's
you're not saying anything. That's what's happening with you.
Even just recently that there's people in government right now that are actually trying to pass bills to outlaw and criminalize forming militias here in America. All right. Well, they've been steadily passing little laws all over the country in different state by state.
When I say that you make your points worse off all the time,
and you're not a debate coach. You've been taking L's all night.
These are void laws, though. This bullshit that they're doing. Once the Clearfield doctrine, Clearfield, the Chevron doctrine starts moving through the system.
That's a valid question, honestly.
Also, Flo,
honestly, Jade, it is incredibly convincing because these are usually most male panels, and yes, it's gotten to that point where I'm almost like, why? But I like dick too much, so no.
Lauren, I'm still up here because of spite.
My bad.
How'd you know my name was Dick?
Anything is possible with enough hatred, Lauren.
Well, Flo's got hate down there. Flo hate.
Love. Do. All right.
All you need is love.
Also, Flo,
Hey,
since you keep running away from voting, if I don't do the anti-gun stance, there will be no one giving that stance. So I'm just trying to, give the other side of the argument.
Yeah, he's actually good at debating.
That was a good response. I don't know if I believe it, but that was a good response there.
If the government takes our guns away or outlaws it to the point where we can't have it, who has control over the guns? It will be the government and criminals that don't follow the law in the first place. So everyone else that are supposedly quote unquote law abiding will not be able to defend themselves. So that's what you're actually, when it comes down to defending this anti-gun scenario. You're actually you're defending the ability of making more victims in the country.
Is it the government's purpose to control the population?
If you give up your guns, you're in essence just plan on giving up or submitting to your own captivity. You're fucked. You're dumb.
So it's
you're creating yourself a victim. You're making yourself a victim.
It's not the government's purpose to control the population, and so what I don't
the government's
bullshit
population. The government's coming to have sex with you if you don't be careful, Furby.
Furby, do you have something to say?
Yeah.
Hey, well, Scott, have you not been here? I'm not letting Furby talk.
That's why I asked.
Start controlling people like that.
Scott is letting Furby talk. So
Yeah, when did the government start controlling people like that? Because the purpose of government is to regulate the functions of society, right? That's what we learned.
No, it's not the purpose of the government.
Furby, do you see traffic lights telling you when to go and when to stop? Do you see people in different areas? Like, I can't go out across the barrier islands because the storm's calling. What's that?
Being regulated is traffic safety, right? That's a function of society.
Wait. You say it's regulating traffic safety to pull me out of a car at gunpoint because I ran a fucking stop sign?
Oh, okay. So I'm against authoritarianism, and I agree that's too.
No, the fuck you're not.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
Okay.
It doesn't seem that way.
Well, you're wrong, and I'm telling you right now. Yeah, I think they take it too far. But the purpose of government in regulating traffic safety is to
The purpose of what's happened is completely different. What's going on right now is full-on authoritarianism, and we have literally the cops are the fucking stormtroopers on the Death Star today.
It's not full on. I'd agree. There's components like shooting people if they don't comply, but like the regulation itself is not authoritarian.
Do you pay income tax?
Not as I'm on disability, so no.
Okay, well, if you worked, would you pay income tax?
Yes.
For a wage, when income is if you make a profit on something.
I
But
don't know
see,
if
the
you're
mass.
doing it, Scott. You guys are gonna kill me.
That's not a good line to go down.
It's not.
Well, let's go back to guns and let me ask you: does it take a gun to kill somebody?
Not necessarily, but it's the most effective.
So
way.
what's okay? So it's the most effective way. So
I think
would you give up your best way or your best option to keep somebody with a gun from killing you because you have equal and opposite force?
Well, if I was family oriented and like family values, especially, is what drove me. Then learning that households that own guns are just more prone to gun violence. I might just second guess that.
Did you
Are
just
you crazy?
invoke family
I've got
values? Did
3
you just
guns
burn
sitting right here
your
next to me, and none of them has killed a person. None of them.
I'm not saying
They
that-
don't jump out of the damn box that they're in and go kill people.
I'm
When
not
I
saying
got raided, they
most of
seized
them-
32 of them from my house. Not one of them ever shot somebody.
Yeah.
I've got 3 right here. They've never shot anybody. Go to the next fucking room. A couple. There's
to be involved in gun violence, there has to be a gun around,
Wayne,
right?
Wayne, I know you're not an idiot. If I say like, hey, if this thing makes you more statistically to have a car accident, doesn't mean like every person's gonna get a car accident. It means a small percentage is gonna be more likely to get in a car accident. You know how stats work, right?
Well, that was what I was trying to say when it comes down to cars. All right, there are so many people that die from car accidents. Should we just outlaw cars and start taking them away from people now?
Well,
I mean, it's on the same lines of guns.
Wait,
the government enforced seatbelts. It actually did.
Seatbelts don't save lives.
It's interesting that you brought that because earlier we talked about how certain gun deaths are surpassing vehicular deaths now. So maybe we should consider something different.
What about cigarettes? Cigarettes kill people all the fucking time.
That's what the government wants you to think. See, this is a real conspiracy. These health tubes are the key to surviving 5G.
So Princess, you're into like the 15-minute cities and eliminate cars altogether. You're into that.
I didn't say that.
Well, I mean that's what you're advocating in a sense.
You're not fucking listening. I don't know how you would get that from what I said.
Yeah, that's just a straw person.
Well, no, that's exactly what it is. Like, okay, well, I mean, it's same thing. Like, like there's a massive amount of children that die every year just because of swimming pools. Should we outlaw swimming pools now?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, there's so many people that get fat because of forks. Should we outlaw forks? You know what I mean?
There's been laws to put fences.
Forks make people fat now. I mean, come on now.
Let yourself in the rim of an aluminum can. That shit fucking stings too.
Yes, there have been laws that, make you put up fences around swimming pools to protect.
So.
That is what we do.
So okay. So now we use the government's force at the point of a gun to force people into behaving a certain way. That's what government does. They use the point of a gun at the point of a gun.
That authoritarian component, but that doesn't make everything else authoritarian.
It's the same thing for everything when it comes down to traffic stuff. They do that at the they eliminate your Fourth Amendment right is gone on a traffic stop.
Honest question. Go ahead.
Don
go ahead,
Juan
Sarah.
comes in with $1.99. What about cigarettes? Shout out to Andrew Wilson's doctor. LOL.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, seriously, you know what I mean? You know, there's too much money in, you know, in these things. You know, it comes down to money. It's the same thing with the hurricane scenario. That's the reason why the whole damn the FEMA and all that stuff. It's all about money. That's why they were trying to imprison. They were trying to threaten prison or jail time for people that.
This message is sponsored in part by...
This message is officially sponsored by Sporks because we can't live without them and we all gain weight because of them. Thank you, Don Juan.
Wait. Genuine question. Like, do you believe in law and order? I'm gonna assume yes, right?
Dun.
Do you believe like in having
We don't
laws?
live under law and order. We live under whoever's got the biggest stick and willing to kill you with it. That's what we live under. There's no such thing as law and order.
Wing, just don't run away from the question. Just answer the question. Simple yes or no. Do you believe in laws? Yes or no?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Define law.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to be more specific.
Do you think we should have laws in our society, or do you think we should not? It's not. It's
We're not under law right now. We're under law merchant, which is fucking legalese and shit.
You think we should have laws in general? Would a lawless society be bad?
Not the way they're being. Not today's laws. No.
This country was founded under common law, and we're not under common law right now.
Answer the fucking question. Yes or no. It's not. If you don't answer, so you're just being bad faith. So yes or no. Should we have law?
No, you're gonna have to be more specific because there's common law, there's admiralty law, there's statutory law. What law are you talking about?
Would a lawless society be bad?
Should we have any of those or none of those?
The way I see it when it comes down to me, I lean toward more an anarchist type of society. Now, anarchy doesn't mean that there's no rules.
Right.
All right. It means that there's no rulers and no masters. The rules are common natural law. All right. That's what I think. You know what I mean? That's what I know as to be the right thing to go.
Thinking is a pretty prestigious word for what you're doing.
One more follow-up question. Who would enforce those rules in your society?
Jesus?
We, the people.
The sheriff.
I mean, because quite honestly, we have the lawful right to actually create our own courts, create our own money, create our own stuff. But no, we've given that up or acquiesce that stuff and being programmed into saying, well, no, we got to give it up to this government over here.
You're just creating another form of government, though. You're literally just breaking down.
No, it's not another form. No,
you're literally describing a format.
Do you know what a crime is? Do you know what a crime is?
I don't know your definition. I'm gonna guess it's not the same as mine.
A crime is when you do damage to life, liberty, or property. All right.
That's very libertarian.
Now we have many statutory laws, quote unquote, on the books that makes everything, that makes it a victimless crime. Crime leaves a victim. If there's no victim, there's no crime. The same thing with, like, for instance, okay, you get pulled over on the side of the street going 2 miles over the speed limit. Who's the victim in that? There's no crime being committed.
I'm a victim because you won't shut the fuck up and you talk a lot, and I think you need to take a breath. Don Juan coming in with $1.99. Money and Hurricane have the letter E. What the fuck? Thank you, Don Juan.
That's a conspiracy. I agree. Let's go.
Hey, Sarah, can we take a moment to pray for me and all the people that I would call neighbors right now? Because we're right in the path of Milton, and I ain't going nowhere.
Up with that. Whatever that was.
Florida strong.
Shut up! Why don't you go ahead and lead us in prayer then?
Flo should do this.
Flo's not religious. Why the fuck would you have me lead him?
Where's your
I'll just, I'll go. Put your Pope hat on there, dipshit.
That's the virtue signal he wanted. He just wanted to look like
Grace, hey, let's just do it this way. Sarah, Grace.
Hey, Hamster, do you like the picture was actually my...
Flo State, can you shut the fuck up for 3 words, maybe 4? Grace, peace, love, amen. For all the victims that have come from the last storm, and hopefully there's not many on this one.
God just texted me. He said he hates you.
Yeah, well,
blasphemy.
Flow State, coming from you, that's expected.
Blasphemy's expected from me, probably.
This panel is
Hey.
a competition of who can be a bigger bully. He definitely won.
Yeah, that's true. And thank you for conceding that.
Hey, do you think I should sing to Sarah someday?
Competition, though.
Yes, you should say, Sarah, you're in.
Not tonight. Nothing.
Scott has tried twice to riz Mrs. Flo by singing songs that he wrote to her.
You're
And,
saying try. She calls me every once in a while now.
I mean, it was really, I really took a risk by letting you sing to her, but I think mostly just because of the geographical distance. Like, we're in Kansas City, you're in Florida, like, it just wouldn't work. But if you were closer, if you were in, like, say, Tennessee or something, you know, I bet she'd be gone.
Well,
So you're saying chuck in the chance.
serenade me, please.
Oh, I don't know. Another time. What about? No, I don't know. I think I have one that I would probably pick for you. Let's think. I'm not going to serenade you because I'm not a great singer.
Ready for it when he mentioned it.
Say again? No, shut up. Never mind. Sarah. I think this will be pretty good. It's called "Don't You Think It's Silly."
What about the one that just a tip or whatever that one was? I like that one.
Just a tip.
What was that one? The first one? Yeah.
What's it, Kate?
You or whatever.
Oh, missing you. I'm back.
Stay awake.
What kind of music do you like, Sarah? Let's ask her this. What do you like?
I don't discriminate music.
Like rock and roll?
Getting late. I got to run. It's been a fun panel. Definitely happy to come back. So it might be a timeout for trying to pull a little late. Sorry, I was, get my beauty rest. Obviously I look great now. But I'm going to get go offline now. But thanks for having me, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely, Princess. So glad you could make it, and we'll catch you on the next one, I'm sure.
Thanks. Later, Sarah. Later, Furby. Later, Flo. Nice to meet the rest of y'all, and goodbye, chat. Peace.
Bye.
I'm actually offended at this point that he didn't call me hamster.
Aw. Well, Don Juan comes in with $1.99 to let Flow State know. Slow. Rita Aquinas didn't know you has furry pals.
Yeah, I think that was actually his love language, but I wasn't reciprocating.
Did Flo drop? Is he, oh, he went live? Or no? It's confusing. He's still live. I don't know where he went. Oh well. Anybody?
So yeah, I just I want to talk to you a bit, Anarchy, and if you're on Discord, I'll put my Discord in the side chat so you can add me. But and by the way, sorry Sarah for not exactly using it for logistics, but
oh, that's during hot seat.
Oh, okay.
Because during hot seat we want it only for logistics because I'm trying to get people's attention, like people that are sitting in the backstage, and if we're using that for everything else, then it gets mixed in and people aren't reading it and yada yada yada. And then I also don't want to distract from the panel as well. I don't want them seeing all the little red dots, popping up for the private chat and then feeling the need to, I want them to stay focused. So I try to keep the back chat during hot seat time for just the logistics only. But during open panel, I don't give a fuck.
Hey, talks a lot. By the way, I'm I saying this in chat.
I just noticed that, Sarah. I'm sorry.
I also change my name before someone calls me that, so just gonna. But yeah, I was gonna ask, since we're kind of on the same team with the whole anarchy thing. I'm a social ecologist from the Bookchinian variety. More I'm still into his earlier stuff more than his later stuff. Maybe that'll change with age. I don't know. But he's kind of like a confederalist. So we believe that there would kind of be some organizations of people, but it would make a confederation. Does that make sense to you?
I'm listening.
But you would agree it would have to be self-regulating, whatever structure it is, if there is no government to regulate it, right? There's not really much else.
Self-governing, yes, yeah.
And like, would you rely on natural law for that?
Yes, natural law is the common law, natural law. Yes, because that's where honestly, I don't want to get into the religious part of it because I don't believe in any religions and all that stuff. But I know there is a creator, and I know the creator is already, is what creates law. If you actually take the word law, LAW, land, air, water.
Okay,
exactly, and only the creator creates law. All right. And when it comes down to a crime, like I said, a crime leaves a victim. That is damage to life, liberty, or property. All right. And if there's no victim, there's no crime.
What is the law? The three letters you said: law, land, air, water. What does that represent?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm not sure.
It represents the three jurisdictions of law.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and who has the jurisdiction of the air?
Like I said, the creator. I mean,
right, and he's given the law of the land, and the law of the sea. The law of the sea has usurped the land.
Well, see, that's the problem right now. Is the land of the water has actually flooded the land. We're not under the land. They call it the supreme law of the land. Well, that doesn't exist. That was what was originally. When it comes down to the Constitution and the supreme law of the land, that was under common law. All right, but that doesn't exist anymore. That's not in the court systems anymore. That's not in. It's all under admiralty law, which is maritime law. And that's actually considered international law.
It's under maritime law, and once you walk into a courtroom and you go across that little short wall there with the little gate, then that's the bar. Yes, it's admiralty. You're in admiralty law right there because you're now on what is a vessel, so to speak, and that vessel has a ship's captain.
Can I just because you couldn't go to
just a heads up, we're gonna go for about 10 more minutes, then I'm gonna shut this down.
Totally.
We're probably driving you crazy with this stuff.
I don't really care.
You can go walk into a courtroom and whatever they're charging someone with, they might not say every charge, but they'll say some, and you can hear what they're charging from, and then even those people will have the paperwork. So it's really if they were citing that law, it would be a totally different crime they're being charged with, right? And so why would they? How could they do this if the actual proceedings in courts are publicly visible and they don't cite those things?
That's not about law. They're not bringing it there for law.
No,
that's where the law happens, is the judicial branch of the government.
You think that you're walking into courtrooms in the judicial branch when you walk into administrative courts? That's not judicial. That comes out of the legislature. That's what the problem is with it.
Well, no, the legislator that's a different branch, and they tell the courts what to enforce.
The legislature is supposed to make laws. The judicial branch is supposed to judge the law, all right, based on what has been written. But you have the legislature or Congress has created what's called an administrative state, okay? And that has fucked everything up.
Just for clarification, what's the main difference?
Ever since the Civil War.
What's the main difference between maritime law and common law?
What's the difference?
Maritime law is international law.
What's the difference between a super sticker and a super chat? Well, one says a funny picture and the other one says words. Thank you, Milk Cow, for the $1.99. And thank you, Don Juan, as well. Talks a lot. That's you, Sir Anarchy. Talks a lot. It's time to read Aquinas. Get the books out and go read Aquinas, please. Thank you.
And Don Juan, since you are well read, I'm just going to make my recommendation now. Murray Bookchin, he's a legend. Social ecology, really, I think it explains what anarchy is alluding to, but in much more grounded terms. In anarchy, we didn't really get a chance to answer, but the reason I'm asking this is, it seems the courts enforce whatever is the legislator, which wouldn't be maritime law. Admiral law is authoritarian. It's kind of it's dictated by the military, right?
No, it's dictated by international law, which is maritime admiralty law. All right, it's actually being influenced by other things. You got the WEF, you got the WOF. You WHO, the WHO, and all that. These are influences and stuff into this nation. But it's also it started a long time ago. I mean, this is like 200 some odd years. And
I'm trying to walk you through something. So when I go to court, though, right, they'll say that these laws are what I'm being charged with, and I look up where those laws come from, and it comes from the Canadian government, not from an international body. So where does the international body start enforcing any of their laws on me as a civilian?
They shouldn't be, because basically those.
I'll tell you that you can visibly see they don't, because 99% of the proceedings in court happen in front of your eyes, aside from like jury duty, jury selection, and stuff like that, because for obvious reasons.
I don't know
do
what
you know
you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what you're saying either, but do you know where all these things originate from?
Well, sure, because especially like in the profession of law, there have been times that countries lose they become lawless, and then international law can be what the courts can use.
We're basically under the Admiralty law. The military is running this, and we have for all intents. What's that?
That confirms what I said earlier when I asked you if the military is the one dictating the laws, and you said no.
No, the military has sat back and they've kind of installed a government. The government's running based on a loosely interpreted version of the Constitution. And there's actually a couple of constitutions, if you understand what's going on. There's a constitution that's for we the people, which we wouldn't be we the people as people call us we the people. No, we're the posterity that we the people who were all gone because they died 200 years ago. But we are the posterity.
If I go to court, if I go to court and there are laws that are derived from a constitutional amendment, most likely, then my question is like, where can they use a different constitution? Like it's already through the legislative.
When you go to court, you're already in a different constitution because there's a corporate constitution, all right?
Right through the laws posted by the legislative branch.
Statutory.
There we go.
Through the laws posted.
Mercy. All right, you guys are killing me. Don
Let me ask you.
Hold up. Don one coming with $1.99 without Aquinas. You don't have Rothbard. Just saying. All right.
Don Juan, you need to read Emma Watson.
Don Juan does perfectly fine. It is 1:40. I am pooped out, and I still have to get up in a few hours and go.
Thanks for having me.
So I could pay my taxes and follow up with all of these other conspiracy theories and terrible things in the world. Let's go around the board. Might be sleeping. That's you. You want to go ahead and start with your closing thoughts? He doesn't see his name, does he?
Who are you talking to?
It's you, Scott.
What am I now? Might be sleeping?
That's yeah, because you were quiet for a while.
Oh, there you go. Nothing. I'll have to share a song another time. Flo wanted to hear something that Miss Flo had heard.
Flo left, so he'll have
he'll have to live, but you'll live too. Thanks for having me. It was an interesting discussion. I don't think it's theories anymore. A lot of these conspiracy theories have turned into full-on conspiracies, especially when government's concerned. Our overlords, if you will, don't really give a shit about us anymore.
That's fair. All right. Say goodnight to everybody.
Sweet dreams. Good night.
All right. And talks a lot. Your final thoughts?
Well, me personally, like I said, I lean toward the anarchist type of living. And I think that people need to stop believing in this religion called government, because government is a religion, and start vibrating and modulating the frequency of freedom instead of this slavery mentality, and getting away from government and stop being dependent on it and start being self-regulating, self-government, self-governing, self-responsible, and then you gain more self-respect that way also. And then, when it comes down to it, like I said, I'm not the most articulate person out there. I'll admit that right off the bat, and I don't have all these statistics that people can pull up on their computer right there in front of them. I don't have that option. So I can't sit there and do all that stuff. But and I appreciate you, Sarah, for letting me up. And I didn't mean to offend you in any way if I did. But sometimes I do get a little bit passionate about how I talk, and that's just the way it is. And I'll say this for Don Juan, he also needs to read a few other books. Also, look into Emma Watson. You also need to look into what was the other one I was sitting there thinking about? I can't remember offhand, but I'll come into it later on at another time. But good night, all y'all, and have a good one. See you on the flip side. I'm all over YouTube.
Awesome. Thanks, Anarchy. All right, Melanie.
Hello, hello.
It's just the two of us again.
Yeah, second night in a row. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Final thoughts.
Wow, what a ride tonight. This is like, normally I felt like these panels have not lived up to like that intro line you have. What is it again? All those who enter.
Oh, all ye who enter. What is it? Hold on. Like beware or something. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Neo came up with that.
I will concede to Flo say this much. Maybe that was the competition at the end to make me abandon hope, but he didn't. I have been here collecting W's.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
And I really had fun. It's always like someone asked me like, how can you stand trying to like talk over people all the time? I think it's, it forces you to rethink your arguments a bit, gives you more time to research. Sometimes you're like, oh, okay, he's going to make a better point than me. And the redirection kind of keeps you on your toes rather than relying on like pre-constructed arguments. Save like the prep for like 1v1 debates or 2v2s and stuff like that. This is supposed to be a shit show.
Absolutely. And I depend on it. Literally.
I am happy to be your heel. I have
heel.
Well, that's the funny thing is like, so I wasn't going to like talk about this ever, but it came up, I guess, that like I said to Princess, everyone kind of hates me. So if I can find a way to like kind of overcome adversity and turn myself into a baby face, maybe that'll work. Oh, right. No, I'm thinking of babyface. I got it backwards. Sorry, wrestling fans. So now I'm your babyface because I had to overcome Flow State the heel. And, that's what I'm doing. I'm overcoming adversity on your panel now. And I'm winning. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it. You're an awesome mod. I really mean it. So, at first I was like, what is Sarah doing? Why is she letting him do this? But then I thought about it. I was like, it's perfect. It's what I asked Princess to do. But he's not like when he tries to talk over me. I can't let him. He's not strong enough with it, and so, I can't let Flow State either.
Yeah,
but I love him for his other qualities because, like, his ability to work on his toes there really showed. Because he was like, I'm actually pro gun, but Melanie's points are defensible at least, so I'm going to. And I appreciate the hell out of people like that. And it's all thanks to you for hosting the right people at the right time. Your choices make all the difference.
Michelle and I definitely know what we're doing when we put the panels together.
Oh, okay,
sometimes it's on a whim, like we didn't get the people that we want for it, and it's like finding out who stands where. But, we have an overall idea of who's grouped in which groups and how we put these groups together of people and which groups we pull from, to piece the panel together. So it's very structured. It's very organized. Like we have a plan. There's definitely a method behind the madness. And this is what you see here every Monday for a good reason. Like we do it on purpose, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'm just gonna stop glazing you now and say good night because, like, I don't know. I have asked so many people to kind of moderate things the way you do. By the way, I know my reputation might follow me. Some people might complain about me in the background for existing here, but
I like you, Mel. You keep the panel rocking in ways that I don't think you recognize.
I think I do, but I do it maybe differently than people see. is probably how it's done.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
there.
I think I'm doing something else, possibly, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely there in a way that you're not going to recognize. I recognize it, and that's why I reach out to you quite often. So
Well, when some big wig tries to buy up your show and put it on like streaming TV or something, because I know it's going to happen. You're way too professional for it not to happen. Take me with you.
everybody that comes here and hangs here with us, and they're not douchebags on panel like that one. What was it King's? Whoever told me to shut up or whatever, that I just booted out. Like people like that don't belong. But everybody that comes on panel and our chat and all, like these are the people that they're staying with us. You are all locked in. You've been grandfathered in. You know,
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why we have a running list of our panelists and people we like, people that are on our naughty list, and and we like it that way. We like putting these people. You guys earn your spots for good reasons.
Oh shit! Did being late put me on the naughty list?
You weren't late. The hot seat.
Oh,
You're
right.
typically late to the not hot seat. Like you don't even have to show up for the hot seat. You could say, "Hey, I might be there, I might not, or whatever." It doesn't matter. Like if
I keep
if
forgetting. It's just I'm so used to like it either being like you're late or you're not. So
Yeah. Now, if I platform you with the panelists, the 4 panelists, if you're late for that, then you'll be on the naughty list, and it is a big naughty list.
okay, then I'll just
'cause
make sure I
I-
don't work that
Mhm.
night because that's what happened tonight, and I just don't have my phone on me, so I didn't have like an easy way to tell
Mhm.
you until I got home that I was going to be late. And my boss is like, "Oh yeah, no, this will only take 2 hours." He was lying. That bastard.
Lies. Nah, it's
So-
good. Yeah, no hot seat. You never have to worry about hot seat. We send out those links in advance for people who are definitely like, I'm interested in this. I want to be on the panel.
See, I thought I was your star. I thought I was like your golden fox.
I reached out to you before Princess and Jake,
Aw.
but you got back to me last.
Which is crazy. They must have gotten back to you so fast. 'Cause I think it was like hours that it took me to get back to you. Like not many, a few.
I think it was like the next morning I woke up
What?
and I had it. Yeah.
No, I'm fact checking you on this if that's okay. I know you're tired, but just real quick.
Yeah. It might have been like overnight because I remember I got theirs and I was like, I locked it all in.
Nope, same night. 3 hours.
Well, that's still 3 hours. I probably didn't see it till the morning
but
though.
good for you for getting guests so quickly. That's like one of the hardest things. And so as long as you can do that easily, or like you can keep it like streaming in, like you've got a good thing going. Anyways.
Oh yeah, it was 9:40 at night, and then I responded first like 6 in the morning to you.
Yeah, and
So
I don't mind. Honestly, because of my work being tonight, it worked out better. So
Oh well, good. Yeah, because
And-
see, then you would have been late, and then you would have been on my naughty list.
but not next time. So just if I'm gonna make sure I don't work that night. That's all.
Yeah.
I've
No,
learned my
definitely.
lesson without having to suffer the consequences. Yes.
Yeah, but that's the great thing about hot seat is for people who are in that situation where it's like, oh, I have something going on, so I
Definitely.
can't make the 9 p.m. time or whatever to be on panel, but I can jump on when I get home and hit the hot seat.
Definitely. Well, have a good night.
Mhm.
I really can't keep you any longer, and I can't wait for the next one.
Fair enough. I'll see you next round, Melanie.
And give this lady money. Bye.
Bye. Oh man, I'm ready to slow it down. How about you guys? Shall we do that? Let's take a little quiet time. Let's do that. Anybody else getting sleepy out there? I know I am. It's almost 2:00 in the morning. I'm definitely ready to go snuggle up in my little pillow. I will absolutely 110% pass out once I get upstairs. Yeah, I'm going to lay my little head down because I got my belly full now. I had a little piece of chocolate, had some chips. It's been a long day. Oh, Jade's on the other side of the world, so she's still wide awake right now. Still wide awake. but in a few hours, it'll be about time for you to, you know. Yeah, I think it's all time for everybody to settle down. We're just gonna close out nice and easy, because this was a pretty intense panel, right? And it was consistently intense. And by way of that, I mean like I actually had to kind of wait for certain times before I could even go to the ladies' room or to go make my sandwich. Like I had to be very specific on the timing because the panel was so unhinged in terms of like constantly, yelling at each other and going off. But yeah. So we're just going to take a few moments to let that adrenaline settle. Then I'll talk you back down. I think it's time for everybody to just nobody got cucked. Yeah, we all got cucked yesterday. Every single one of us. The chat, the panelists, the host, everybody got cucked. On all three channels too. On my channel, on Andrew Wilson's channel, and on Undead Chronic's channel. We all got cucked. Oh, rotten tomato. You know it. Good thing I missed it. Yeah, Don Juan, it was, in one way, it was kind of a dud in terms of like the optics of a fun, crazy stream, but at the same time, optically, it was really good because they were able to have a good conversation and come to a conclusion and shake hands and walk away. I was waiting for them to crack open a beer and I was just gonna leave. Like, let them be on screen together. I'll go grab a sandwich. You guys need to have a beer or something. This is dude talk. You guys can sit and talk. I'll walk away. Yeah, we had all of our mods on full alert yesterday, just because I didn't want it to get crazy and I wanted my chat to stay clean. Yeah, it was definitely a good conversation that they had. Anyways, well, gentlemen, ladies, see, there you go. That easy listening voice is making me sleepy. Anybody else getting a little tired now? I think you're all getting tired. Well, except for Jade, because Jade is like 5 o'clock in the afternoon right now. She's probably ready to have dinner or something to that degree. But I think everybody else, most people over here are around the same time frame. It's either like 11:55 for you, 12:55 for you, or 1:55 for you. Uncle Fatty. I'll reply with no replies after this. There you go. Yeah, it's sleepy time. Everybody put your little chat fingers down. Put your little chat fingers down. It's time to take a little nappy nap. I'm sure you guys all have something productive to go and do tomorrow. But until then, we're all going to just kind of wind down, take a little break. Sleepy, sleepy. Sleep is probably one of the most important things you could ever do, and yet I get none of it. I work too much between work, stream, kids, all that stuff. I don't know what sleep is anymore, guys. Yes, Anarchy's got me here. Thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate you. 10:55 on the left coast. All right, gentlemen. And ladies, because I know there's like, I don't know, 4% of you are ladies in my chat. Not very many of them, but you are out there. I think it's time to wind down. I hope we were able to put on a good show for you. I hope everybody had a good night. It was fun. It was entertaining. Don't forget to tune back in Thursday. Thursday Throwdown. We've got something a little interesting coming. And I think it's going to get crazy. I think it's going to be fun. Joe Cool, who are you calling a pimp? You love my pimp powers. Gayest chef 70s shit I've ever heard. That's okay. Oh, anyways. But tune back in Thursday night. Throwdown Thursday. Moderator Monday's ugly sister. It's gonna get stupid. Anyways. I hope you all had a wonderful evening. Thank you again to all of our wonderful panelists for coming on. Thank you for the hot seaters and our open panel people as well. You guys make the show, not me. I just sit here and eat sandwiches. Genius business strategy, I swear it. Anyways, come back Thursday night, Throwdown Thursday, Moderator Monday's ugly sister. Outside of that, fuck off.
A long time ago, in a YouTube world full of keyboard warriors, many monsters and trolls lurked in the chat rooms. They thrived on arguments amongst each other until one day, a heroine rose from the ashes. She was made from the tears of beta bitches and the sweat of alpha male gym guys. Throughout the centuries, this keyboard warrior princess showed up in many forms. She slayed many demons along the way. By the light of the moon, she led the simp army into battle. Wielding her sword, she fought through the dark forests. With each new era, the monsters evolved. The keyboard warrior princess grew stronger, with new skills to bring them down. The world around her advanced, but so did she. Her heroism became known to society as technology advanced, and with each new generation, she had to learn how to blend in to keep her identity hidden. Now known as the Raging Tomato, this keyboard warrior princess fights for justice in every debate. She fights for freedom, for moderator bias, and she fights for your ability to battle on an open panel for your beliefs. She protects the simp troopers from destruction. She fights to create peace among troll wars. She storms the battle zones without hesitation and leaves the battleground with her pockets full of souls. Are you ready to battle your fellow trolls? Are you ready for a moderator to give you time to talk? Are you ready for justice, peace, and a fair fight? Tune in every Monday night to watch your friends duke out their issues, or join the open panel so that you can fight the good fight and find resolution with your peers.